Here we go. Let me go ahead and fix this. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to DCTV, where I'm your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news in the greater Cincinnati area. Thank you, everybody, for joining in today's stream. We have a lot of juicy and fun and cool content to talk about today, or should I say tonight. Latest stream I've done here, but got some free time on my hands and, decided to come talk some sports with you guys because what is there better to do? The first guy to join the stream today. Hell yeah, I'm gonna be able to make this stream too. I appreciate you tuning in, man. Guys like you are what, makes me keep grinding. And if you guys didn't see already, we just hit 50K views this morning, I believe I checked. Around this morning, I checked and we hit 50K views. So couldn't do this without you guys. I really appreciate you. Before we really get going in today's video, I want to go ahead and get a shout out on my Snapchat and on my social media. So if you haven't already, add me on my social media up there or in the link below. It's the best way to get a hold of me and stay up to date for all my streams. So let me go ahead and give a shout out real quick and we can get some people joining the stream. All right, we are going live right now on YouTube. Swipe up right now to come join and just talk some sports here late at night. Appreciate you. All right, let me get some shout outs to my social media and we will get going in tonight's stream. How's everyone doing tonight? DMC Beats, my guy. DMC Beats is actually starting up YouTube here soon where he's going to be displaying all his all his beats. So I already have a link in the description to his Instagram. Soon it will be to his YouTube. So right now this isn't his beats, what I'm listening to right now, but all my actual videos, it's all that guy right there. So if you like what you hear in my videos, it's all this guy right here. We got some Houdays. Jacob Bell is here early, one of the first people into the stream. He says Houday. Houday, Jacob, thank you for joining in. Right now, I'm just getting some shout outs going on my social media right now. Get some people to come talk some sports with us. So give me 1 second. And my fully guided attention on you. So while you got some free time, guys, either fire away some questions for me, any topics you want to talk about, or add me on my social media. If you guys got any content questions you want to talk about, there's a few topics I want to touch tonight, especially about some of the rookies we were talking about. Logan Wilson and all these guys are finally at Paul Brown Stadium, finally in Cincinnati, and really trying to get the season going so far as in 2020. So a lot of positive news here so far that we can take away, even though COVID is kind of trying to stop the season. And like we were talking in yesterday's stream where I was saying how they're probably NFL Player Association was talking about removing the preseason fully. That did end up happening. So no preseason games whatsoever. We're also going to talk about some of the positives and negatives of that in this stream because there are some positives, but there's also some negatives. So we'll get into that later. Excited for this defense. Oh yeah, Jacob. If you haven't already, go check out my defensive video that I did a couple weeks ago. It's over 2,000 views. It's one of my better videos. This defense, man, there's a lot to be excited for. Obviously, the defensive line's top 10 in the NFL, easy. The linebacking crew who is very young, eager, and hungry and ready to get out there. A secondary that is, kind of been thrown together over the offseason and free agency, and possibly one of the better or best safety duos in the league with Von Bell and Jesse Bates here in 2020. So there is a lot to be, excited about for the defense. I know everyone's excited about the offense and how we actually got some national media love today. Did you guys see that on Twitter? The Bengals actually got a little bit of some social media love, like national media love. The news was regarding the offensive side of the ball. If you haven't already, add me on my Twitter because I basically quote tweeted what happened and was just like, whoa, like that's crazy. Like the Bengals actually getting shown some love for once. It's kind of crazy. Yo, Instagram, we are going live right now on my YouTube. Click the link in my bio to go ahead and come, talk some sports and come say what's up to everybody. Appreciate you. How you guys liking the shirt? I actually just copped this shirt from Coach Sports downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's a pretty cool shirt. I like the cursive in it. Welcome to the jungle. Pretty cool shirt. It's expensive though, but because it's Nike, around like $30, but it is Nike. I'm very excited and eager to see how this stream turns out because my daytime streams when I normally stream do pretty well. 100 to 200, 100 to 250 views in one day. But I've never done a stream this, late at night before. So it's going to be very interesting to see, who stops and says what's up. And I'm excited. I don't know about you guys. Because of any other topics or questions, Q&A, and anything about Bengals or sports in general, go ahead and fire them at me. And if we have any Reds fans today, opening day is coming up soon. Friday. The Reds will play their first game of the season, which is kind of weird saying that, in July. But yeah, man. Friday, the Cincinnati Reds will kick it off. Forgot who it is, but so far they won tonight, even though they're just like scrimmage or preseason, whatever you want to call it, whatever these games are being counted as. They're getting some wins, so interesting to see. I mean, who do you think is going to be more successful this season in the Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Bengals? How frequent do you think the Bengals will run five wide? So five wide is going to be very dependent on how the offensive line does. If the offensive line holds up pretty well, then I expect the Bengals to do a lot of four wide and possibly some five out. With guys like AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Auden Tate. We got a lot of guys that can go out there wide and run with anybody in the league, honestly. I mean, our receiver corps is as deep as anybody in the NFL. And that's why my next video might have something to do with that. But yeah, as long as our offensive line can hold up, and it also depends if Joe Mixon is either lining out on the outside with the receivers or like if we do a four out, if he lines up in the backfield, if he's going to go out for a run or if he's going to sit there and block. Because let's say even if it's just a four wide and you either have Gio or Joe Mixon sitting there for the block, he could go run some routes and pick up some receiving yards on the ground, which is what you want out of your running back. But if the offensive line's pretty shot, they don't have a choice but to sit there and block. So I think that there will be a lot of four out, and five wide just depends on the O-line, man. We got the talent. We got a great quarterback who's good in five wide, who is good in those type of situations. He just has to have time to throw the ball. But if anything, he is one of the best guys to get the ball out his hands quick. So it's in his blood. He can do it, but our O-line has to hold up a little bit. We got the guys at receivers. We got the receivers, and they can do it. AJ Green's going to come back healthy, ready and ever. If you didn't see, that was in my last video about AJ Green, basically just covering the contract news. He is back on an $18.2 million deal on his contract tender. Basically to see what he can, if he can prove himself in 2020, to see if he wants to come back for a contract extension for the future years to end his career as a Bengal. He's came out many times and stated that he wants to end his career in Cincinnati and that he appreciated what Larry Fitzgerald has done and players like who've done that their whole career was, I think, James Harrison. I don't know, but he's really appreciate that. And I think the Bengals have kind of been sold on it, especially on their social media where they've been like, I mean, if you follow the Bengals on Twitter, they've basically just been running wild with AJ Green and the topic of him retiring as a Bengal. It's been pretty insane, not going to lie. It's like everything they use in quotations. Like AJ Green stated he wants to be in Cincinnati forever type of thing, which I don't blame him. AJ Green is a Hall of Famer, heck of a player. As long as he can stay healthy and stay on the field, he'll make an impact, on and off the field. We have a lot of young guys he can come in there and be a veteran presence in the locker room. He can show T. Higgins to do this and not do that. And then on the field, we all know how AJ Green plays on the field, so not really worried about it. But yeah, I think we get a lot of five wide in 2020, depending on how the O-line holds up. I mean, Joe Burrow is definitely capable of doing it. He's done it before, so why can't he do it in the league now? So I gotta shout out Twitter real quick. Let me get something going on Twitter, and we will continue this. Any other questions, comments, topics you want to talk about? But yeah, I mean the AJ Green news. We talked a lot in last stream about how much he should be paid, if he should be paid, yada yada. I forgot who the guy was. Me and him were getting into it. He's thought he should get paid $20 million in salary to end his career here, man. And I told him we shouldn't pay him $20 million in salary unless he has 1,500 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns. So I want AJ Green back, but I want him back at the right price. I mean, if he really wants to be loyal and in his team, in his career in Cincinnati, I think he would take a veteran / hometown discount for us, but maybe not, because look, he took a contract tender and he couldn't get a deal done this season, which obviously it's harder this offseason with COVID delaying stuff, injuries delaying things. So, I mean, it was, it's bad timing, honestly. We are about 15 minutes in. If you guys have any other questions or topics, go ahead and get them fired up, guys. Come on, this is a Q&A. I need some more topics to talk about. But, dude, yesterday, the stream, did I stream yesterday? Was it the day before? Hold on. I didn't stream yesterday, did I? It was the day before. But that stream, I'd probably say half of it was about AJ Green. The other half was about national media. And that was kind of weird because then yesterday, the national media actually showed some love for Cincinnati. So it's kind of like we ranted like an hour on the stream because it was about a two-hour stream, a little bit more than that. I literally just ranted the whole time about the national media tearing up the Bengals, and then boom, a big national media network goes out there and shouts out the Bengals offense, actually. So it's kind of cool to see, man. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. How are you guys liking the audio? If you haven't noticed already, I actually got this new mic here in celebration of 1,000 subscribers / 50K views, because I knew we were going to hit it pretty soon after. And I upgraded from the blue Snowball Ice to the blue Yeti with a nice little stand here. So let me know what you guys think about the audio. My man Johnson said, if AJ and Ross don't get hurt, what do you expect from this season? Well, with AJ Green, obviously K, a couple TDs. So I've had some people saying that he's going to get a lot of touchdowns because of Joe Burrow, but I would like to say that hopefully the touchdowns are spaced out quite a bit, as we have guys like Auden Tate, who is an absolute tank over there at a wide receiver position, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, who is huge, 6'4 plus. We got a bunch of big receivers that can go up there and grab the ball. So I don't mind if AJ doesn't have to get a lot of touchdowns. I just want him to be reliable no matter everywhere in the field. Like Auden Tate is a guy who I want 100% reliable in the red zone. At every red zone drive, if you're not taking a shot with Auden Tate in the end zone, then I'm disappointed. If you disagree with me, go ahead and look up a photo of Auden Tate, and you will see the size, because we also spoke about in the last stream how he makes AJ Green look like a child. And AJ Green is a big dude. Auden Tate is giant. He is a specimen, man. He is a freak athlete, that guy. So yeah. Now John Ross is going to be tough because he has a lot to prove and probably not a lot of playing time to prove it. He probably not going to play special teams, although I wish he kind of would, with this season winding down, this really being his last chance. So probably no special teams, which is going to hurt him, either being with the Bengals or another team in general, because if he gets signed from another team in free agency, a big thing is going to be wanting him to play special teams. So that's going to just hurt him even more. But if he can stay healthy, if we're running a lot of 4 and 5 out, then he will get playing time. But if not, if we're just playing a lot of 3 out, man, he's probably not going to see the field much, because I don't see him playing over T. Higgins in a lot of formations. And T. Higgins is a rookie. I mean, do you see him playing over T. Higgins? Do you see him playing over Auden Tate, Alex Erickson, which I'd probably say yeah, but I don't know, man. John Ross could have 800 yards with 5 touchdowns, or he can have 400 and a touchdown. So just because the guy is so explosive, you get him the ball early one game, he gets it, he stays healthy. The guy can catch a 75-yard bomb in the first quarter. So he would only need 25 more yards the rest of the game to get, to pass triple digits. But it's just that doesn't happen very often. I mean, how many games did that happen last year? 2, 3 games where he went on that hot streak. I mean, he started off the year hot. He got injured, slowed down. He came back. Really wasn't the same as what he was before. So my hopes are high for John Ross. I think no matter how he plays, he will not return to the team. I think if he has 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, the Bengals won't bring him back. I kind of just feel like the Bengals, since Zach Taylor's came in, tried to build a new mentality, new locker room, and just, a whole new feeling. And I feel like John Ross might have a little bit of the past left in him. I don't know. I like John Ross. I think his ceiling is high, man. His ceiling's top 10 receiver in the league. It's just the odds are so stacked up against him that if he can, obtain it. So I like him a lot, but man, his odds are stacked up against him, man. And I just don't see him in Cincinnati in 2021, which sucks because you don't want any first round draft pick to go away like that. You know what I mean? Like, it just sucks. Yeah, Jacob Bell said DJ Reader had a conference with Good Morning Football. Yeah, I saw that, man. DJ Reader, I like a lot. He has a great attitude, I feel like. I feel like that's going to be huge for the team, bringing some good morale, some upside. So I really like DJ Reader. I think he is not he's not a stat stuffer. Not many defensive tackles are. It is pretty rare to have a defensive tackle who is, stacking up the stat sheet, filling it up. DJ Reader really doesn't do much of that, but that's okay. If you watch the tape, he's on the field and he makes a lot of plays. He fills up a lot of gaps. He stops the ball up the middle. He can get a sack or two a season, maybe a little bit more this season. I don't know. With Geno Atkins, we'll see. But really, if he can just stop the run up the gap, clog up some guys, take up 2 offensive linemen every now and then, he'll do good this season. I really like DJ Reader. It was a good pickup. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. That was one of the things I was trying to work on for myself. Trying to, make the quality content as best as possible here on DCTV. Got my guy Rage saying you think we're going to sign Joe Mixon soon. Well, I kind of spoke about this a little bit in the last stream. It's kind of a tough selection, kind of a tough choice because Cincinnati, obviously before this free agency period, haven't done much in a long time. And then obviously this free agency, they turned around. It was like Bengals fans were like shocked. The entire NFL was shocked. Like Cincinnati was like the 3rd most winning team in the league to like since when? Probably never. So they could. I mean, you could wake up tomorrow and see Joe Mixon sign. In my opinion, if they were going to sign him before the season, they would have already done it. I did a hashtag paid Joe Mixon video 2 months ago. It's probably 1,500 views. It's pretty good. And I thought they were going to pay him then. That was my guess. That's why I made that video, and it didn't happen. So I feel like now at this point, it's not going to happen before the season. I mean, you got to think no preseason. What's training camp going to be like? It's taking players longer to sign because of COVID. Yeah, King Henry just signed for 12.5 mil salary. But I don't know. I think if Joe Mixon's going to get signed, I think they have to wait to either mid or late season or after the season. I just think the Bengals kind of missed their time to sign him. I really thought it was going to happen a lot sooner than what it did. So at this point, I just don't see it happening before the season ends, which is, there's good to that, but there's also bad. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get him locked up, but what if we lock him up and overpay him? I mean, it's happened a lot here in the NFL. I mean, if you've watched the NFL at all, you've seen a lot of guys get overpaid here recently. So, it wouldn't be anything new. I don't think that's going to happen with Joe Mixon, though. I think he's a different situation, and I don't think the Bengals will overpay him either. I think he's going to get right where he should be. You think the Bengals should have gone after Larry Warford? I don't know, man. I mean, let me check him out. Let me see what I really feel about this. How old is he? He's 29 years old. Probably. Yeah, I remember this guy. Look, man, I said it. As much as I, want the Bengals to succeed, I don't with depending on how this offensive line is going, I do think we're gonna need to do more than just draft offensive linemen. We've tried doing that the past couple of years, and guys really haven't panned out so far. So I feel like either sometime this year we need to either trade for an offensive lineman, or this offseason we need to go pay somebody. We need to get a star lineman somewhere on this O line to help everybody else. That would help with chemistry, morale, a veteran presence, and just a guy that we can rely on. I mean, who on the Bengals offensive line can you rely on? I want to say Jonah Williams, but Jonah Williams hasn't played a damn snap yet in the NFL, which is very unfortunate, which he'll get his shot this year. And no preseason now, so the offensive line is going to be a good scramble to see, who starts day one and who's playing week 4. Is it going to be the same group of guys? Who knows? Because there's no preseason, which sucks, and that's one of the negatives. But yeah, I think there was a lot of guys they should have gone after for. The Redskins tackle. Well, he was the Redskins tackle. I forgot. I think he went to the Eagles. I feel like I thought the Bengals were going to go after him. I really did. I forget his name, but he's a heck of a player. I think he came off like a 2-season injury, something like that. But man, take a shot, take a veteran presence. This offensive line, I mean, it could come and be top 15, top 20, above average, maybe average offensive line. If we had that this season, I would be happy. If it's the end of the season and we have the same guys we have right now and all have an offensive line that's top 15, maybe 10, 15-ish in that range at the end of the season, and you were to tell me that, I would be okay, thumbs up. I would be okay with that. But do I think that's going to happen? The odds are against that as well. But if if we're actually competing, we go trade for a guy, or this offseason, I think we have to go after somebody. I'm not sure who is in the free agency for offensive lineman, but we need to go after somebody. And I thought we were going to do that this offseason, but I'm not going to complain about the offseason free agency period just because the Bengals actually did something and they did a lot. So I'm happy, no regrets. But yeah, I do think if we did go after somebody, it was going to be the offensive lineman. But hey, we got this whole season to worry about it. Any idea why we haven't signed Joe and T? Well, we have signed. You talking about Joe Mixon or Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow is signed. If you're talking about Joe Mixon, the Bengals are probably going to weigh out and see how he plays. But we actually have already signed Joe Burrow. Right. Joe Burrow contract. I think I looked this up last stream. Yeah, Joe Burrow signed a $36 million contract with Cincinnati Bengals, $24 million signing bonus. The T. I will say if he hasn't got signed yet, he will in the next few days because I think T. Higgins is signed too. Is he not? Yeah, T. Higgins. It says T. Higgins is signed. Contract value $8.6 million. Salary cap $610K. Yeah, base salary $610K. It's saying he signed on here. So because if you go to the Bengals Twitter, they posted everybody they just signed. They just signed Logan Wilson as well. I'm pretty sure everybody's locked up. Besides the Mackenzie Alexander, who isn't a rookie, but I don't know what's taking so long with that. I'm sure something COVID related, hopefully. But yeah, Logan Wilson's locked up. Akeem is locked up. Marcus Bailey is locked up. Hakeem Adeniji is locked up. And if you go to the Bengals Twitter, it's all on there. So, and I'm sure it had to do with them just coming to Cincinnati. This week, they just arrived at Paul Brown for a training camp. So I'm sure they didn't want to, not most people, I'm sure, is going to want to make that contract deal over, the computer over, like a press conference over the phone. I'm sure most guys are going to be able to do it in person. Pen and paper probably feels a lot better. And don't be surprised or like worried because that's with a lot of guys across the entire league. This isn't just the Bengals, not just Cincinnati. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure all of them's locked up besides Mackenzie Alexander, the cornerback from Minnesota. Which it's just kind of crazy because it's weird how one of them is signed already and one of them's not. Like that's kind of fishy, but there's probably nothing to it. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's preventing guys to get things that are normally easy, making it a little bit harder for them to do. So, I mean, as long as they're in Cincinnati and ready for training camp, like who cares? Like they're gonna play. They're not gonna show up. They're not gonna travel from Minnesota to Cincinnati, not to get paid. You know what I mean, man? So, and plus, it's pretty late at this moment if they tried to make a move out of here. Who are you guys most excited for? Besides Burrow, what rookie are you most excited for? T, any linebackers? I mean, you got to think this T Higgins Burrow combo will be a fun one to watch for a long time. Just like when Andy Dalton, AJ Green, got drafted together and they had a lot of good seasons together, man. They really became a duo. We could see the same thing with T and Burrow. I wouldn't be surprised. And it's funny how similar T and AJ is. So hopefully it turns out even half the player would be fantastic. Yeah, Andrew. I didn't see anything about Burrow either, but if you look it up, it says he's a contract, and the Bengals have posted all the other guys on Twitter. I'm not sure why they didn't post Burrow, but Burrow was signed before that day. Like Burrow was signed a while ago, so that's probably why they didn't just post it. But yeah, Joe Burrow was seen at Paul Brown Stadium. Yeah, I was just Cincinnati earlier today, so Joe Burrow, man, I got to meet the guy. I wanted to go to training camp so bad to get this bad boy signed by Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, all the guys. I want to go and get that signed so bad and my Burrow jersey. Man, I wanted to do some good content. I could have done a lot of great content down there at training camp. And I really wanted to, man. I really wanted to. When they said no training camps, that was a big hit to the gut. Honestly, there's a lot of content you can do down there. And I would love to get to interviewing some players, honestly. I want to see what Akeem is going to do. Seems like one of those late round picks that could become a top 10 player. Akeem is a very intriguing player who is a homing missile that quarterbacks should be afraid of. Akeem is a guy who can help us play someone like Lamar Jackson, someone who torched us just a year ago. Akeem is a guy that can come in here and help prevent, not stop Lamar Jackson, but help, prevent some of his amazing playmaking abilities on his foot. Akeem's a really interesting player. I like a lot of the guys we got, and I think, depending on what he can do, man, he can be, I don't want to say Vontaze perfect, but somebody who can go in there and make a lot of big plays. So not saying I don't want to compare, Vontaze because, all the, things that happen. But I think he can be a big playmaker is what I'm saying. But I don't know about his coverage ability. All I know about Akeem is that he can get after the quarterback and he can come off the edge. If you see photos of the guy is shredded. Go ahead and look up a picture of Akeem. Dude shredded. I'm really excited. Hopefully he's pretty speedy and durable. Guys like that need to be durable because they're going to be taking hits from 300-plus pound offensive linemen while trying to get to the ball. Those guys are going to be going headfirst into, running backs and trying to get to the quarterback. So you need someone who's going to be hopefully pretty durable. Look at Vontaze. I mean, Vontaze was durable, I guess you could make the argument. He just, I don't know, what would you call Vontaze? Because he was durable, right? Like, he didn't really get injured somehow. But I guess he's Like, I don't know. Yeah, I would call Vontaze durable, I guess, even though the situation how it ended. But I don't know. How many rounds do you see us drafting O-line next year? Hopefully not many. My theory is that we either trade for a big offensive line tackle in the league or sign one. Obviously, if we did that, we would still draft offensive line, but I just don't think drafting offensive line is the answer. We look how many offensive linemen we've tried to draft in the past years, and look how it's turned out. Not very good. I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, I know offensive linemen, some are day one, like Quentin Nelson's, and some of them are prospects. But with who we have in the backfield, we can't get a lot of prospects anymore. We need to sign someone. I do expect them to draft maybe 2 offensive linemen next year, but I don't want to draft offensive linemen in the first round every other year. I want to go sign somebody. I want to build up the guys we have so we don't have to. Obviously, that's asking for a lot, but my hopes is that we don't have to draft a lot of offensive linemen. I want to go draft T. Higgins. I want to go draft great cornerback. I want to go draft a star cornerback. I want to draft a star linebacker. I want to go get some game changing. You have a quarterback in the backfield like Joe Burrow. But I'm just saying there's other ways we can get offensive linemen. And hopefully it's not just through the draft because like we've seen in previous years, guys aren't really turning out like how we expected them to. So I do expect us to draft offensive linemen no matter what, though. I got this Bengals helmet. My dad's work did they did each year his work did like a party or whatever, and they do raffles. And he did the raffle and he actually winning up that real authentic Bengals helmet. It's a little bit older. It's authentic. So, but it's a little bit older. Obviously, it's a little bit of the older ones. It's not like the newer modern ones, but I mean, it's not too old. And let me tell you, that helmet is heavy. So Myles Garrett slinging that thing around. But yeah, my goal is to go get that sign training camp, but that's gonna have to wait till next year. Okay, this is an interesting one. What are the chances, in your opinion, of us sweeping the Browns? Well, it's definitely doable, but we have to win. What is it, week 3? Is it week 3? Is that the big Bengals Browns game? Is that the big Bengals Browns game? Let me see. Yeah, 9/17, 8:20 p.m. in Cleveland. We got to win that one to sweep them. What is that? Is it Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football? It's one of those. It's a primetime game, week 3 in Cleveland at the Dog Pound. To sweep them, we got to win that one. Plus, it's week 3. It's early on, divisional games, super important because those are the ones that come back and bite you in the butt later in the season. If we are going to sweep them, we have to beat them week 3. It's doable, and I think if the Browns are going to have the successful season, it's all Baker Mayfield. The Browns have so much talent on that team, and I'm not going to be biased. Browns have a hell of a talented team. They have a lot of good guys on that team, but if their quarterback is questionable, they aren't going to win a Super Bowl. They're not going to make the playoffs without Baker Mayfield stepping up and being that guy. But if Baker Mayfield can step up and doubt the haters in this season, the Browns are probably going to compete pretty well, but it's all Baker Mayfield. All Thursday night. Yeah, I knew it was a primetime game. We have to win that one. Okay. I'm currently a junior saver. Maybe we can talk Bengals one day. Love your content and talk Bengals football. Yeah, man, I'm going to be a freshman. Going into the DIF program, Digital Innovation, Film and Television, and Sports Management. I'm going to be a freshman, so I'll probably see you around campus. If you don't, add me on social media if you haven't already. I'll hit you up, and yeah, talk sports any day, man. Go X. That's why I got the Xavier flag, if you guys were wondering. But go X for sure. Which receiver is going to get Joe Burrow first NFL touchdown? Number 85, T. Higgins. Wouldn't that be sweet, man, to see them cap off the duo with the first touchdown for both of them in their career? Who would get the ball? Who knows? But I think that'd be something sick to see. Uh, if not, probably John Ross would be a surprise. Like John Ross, it's one safety coverage. Tyler Boyd goes across, safety at the pulls in to guard Tyler Boyd, leaves John Ross one-on-one islands, just flies by the guy like a 65-yard touchdown first drive. I could see that. I don't know. I think it'd be sweet with T. Higgins, but I don't know, man, because I think we have so many options in the end zone. I think Auden Tate is going to have a lot of touchdowns this season. I've been saying that for a while. And yeah, I think T. Higgins would be sweet. Or, AJ, because AJ is in the talks for comeback player of the year. And, why not start it off with a touchdown in week 1? So, AJ comeback player of the year. What's thoughts on that? How do you think AJ will do coming back after that after these not pretty last few years for him? That Browns game is Thursday night. Yeah, I knew it was a prime time, whatever week or whatever day it is. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Burrow is going to be under a lot of pressure. I was going to say a sold out crowd, but who knows how many people that would be anyway. But he's from Ohio, and so he's going to be under a lot of pressure. That Battle of Ohio, he's really going to be able to feel it for the first time. Be a fun one to watch because he's going to play the Browns a lot more in his career. You know what I mean? 2 times a year minimal, 3 maybe in the playoffs if they meet ever. So and then we play them again later in the year, 10/25/20, 1 p.m. at home. So hopefully we can win that one because it's a home game. But yeah, to sweep the Browns, it's doable. We just have to win at home, obviously. And then that's going to be a tough one to play, bro. It's going to be a lot of pressure. And what do you guys think? Burrow or Baker? Burrow or Baker? Obviously, if I'm picking a franchise to build around, I'm picking Burrow. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting to see Baker, what he can do this year, because my hot take is if he doesn't perform this year, he's gone. Baker Mayfield will not be a Cleveland Brown if he doesn't perform this year. If not, he won't be a starter, or they will bring in competition to compete, and he'll probably end up losing. Bottom line, my hot take for Cleveland and Baker Mayfield is if he doesn't perform this year, there will at least be someone to come in and compete, and he'll be on a hot spot. They brought in Kevin Stefanski, offensive coordinator from the Minnesota Vikings, who, in my eyes, is a phenomenal offensive coordinator, an amazing offensive mind guy who can be a great coach. And he has a lot of talent on that offensive team, really does. So I feel like, what attachment does he have to Baker Mayfield? He didn't draft the guy, So if Baker's not performing, he's going to at least bring in, some competition to compete with them. Because, our division's tough, man. Our division is not easy, and he knows that. And he's going to figure that out, if not very soon. So it's going to be interesting to watch the Browns this season, which, it was going to be last year too, with all the hype. Browns Super Bowl, Brown 12-win, 13-win team, Baker Mayfield MVP season, Odell Beckham Jr., who I love. Don't discredit the guy. Jarvis Landry, Odell, best duo in the league. There was just so much hype, and he just fell flat on his ass. I saw more commercials. He had more commercials than he probably did touchdowns by far. If you watched NFL on any other given Sunday, man, it was all his freaking commercials. So he really got the taste of reality last year. He wanted to be that guy. He wanted to be that show-off. He wanted to be a show-off superstar guy to represent the league his rookie season. He had a good rookie season. And other guys got pissed off that Baker Mayfield thinks he's that guy, and they just went after him. And I kind of felt bad for the Browns because I feel like they hurt themselves more than other teams hurting them. I feel like they wanted to be that target. They wanted to be that team, and that just put a target back, and it hurt them in the long run. So they wanted to be that team. They want the smoke. They got the smoke, and they fell flat on their ass. But don't let me discredit the Browns. Obviously, I don't like the Browns. I don't want them to do good. But man, they have a lot of talent, and you have to be a very biased, hardcore fan to say that team doesn't have talent, because it does. It's just, can they put it together? We'll see, man. I always love the Bengals-Browns matchups, what they bring. But Cincinnati's definitely the better city if you live in Ohio. Cincinnati is definitely the better city. Let's be honest. Come on now. Joe Burrow's gonna throw it to himself like in the Georgia game. I know what you're talking about, man. Or I mean, like Baker Mayfield. I don't think he threw it to himself, but when he threw, what did he do? It was when he first came in when what's his face went down. The guy went down. He came in. I don't know. I can't think of his name. He went down. Was it Tyrod Taylor? I don't can't think of the name. He came in and he did that like the flip option and where he was in the end zone. They threw it to him, and everyone was like, "Oh, let's go!" I think it was a primetime game. I was watching it live. I remember that was so crazy. And then Baker Mayfield took that spot and kind of ran away with it until last year. So Burrow all the way, no question. That's what I'm saying. What would you do if the Bengals beat Ravens in Week 16 and knocked them out the first seed? If the Ravens are the 1 seed, which they'll probably they have the best chance. Let's be honest. But I would be fun to watch. I mean, the Bengals have done in the past years. What was it? 2 years ago we did the last second touchdown, and the Bills got clinched into the playoffs because of that. And they're in the locker room going crazy. And then they shipped the Bengals like thousands of wings and like rebuttal of like their appreciation of getting them into the playoffs. So that was fun. That was a fun one to watch, even though the Bengals weren't making it. It was good to see them knock somebody out like that and put the Bills in. The Bills are cool, I guess. Bills are cool, right? Bills are another interesting team to watch here in 2020. Bringing in a guy like Stephon Diggs with a guy who has a biggest of an arm as Josh Allen, even though it's not very accurate. Dude has a rocket of an arm and a receiver who loves going deep. So that only stirs up for a lot of deep throws. The Bengals can be the first NFL team to reach Mars. Hooday, man. Hooday. Just showing some love. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining the stream. If you haven't already, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and join the DCT family. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. Hooday, guys. Just talking some football content, talking some Bengals stuff. Having a good old time, man. Having a good old time. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games I'm excited for here in 2020. But what game are you guys most excited for? The Browns one, obviously, is going to be a fun one to watch. It's probably a lot of tussles and fights going on. Maybe some breakups going to have to happen. Let's see. The Eagles against in Philadelphia, obviously no fans or limited fans. I think there's no fans in Philadelphia actually. But even if that was, Philadelphia is a tough place to play. And Carson Wentz has a year where he's going to have to really turn some heads and stay healthy. We all know the talent is there for Carson Wentz. If you're thinking he's overrated or not, he almost won the MVP race. Probably would have if he would have stayed healthy, honestly. I think he is very talented, but what's a guy with talent who can't stay on the field? So some people say he's overrated. Some people think he's underrated. I feel like he's a guy with a lot of talent who's just struggling to stay on the field. So I think that one's going to be a fun one to watch. And I feel like the Bengals can put up a lot of points in that one. Like, I feel like if that game is going to be close, it's going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, you have Philadelphia, who is hands down probably the worst secondary or underperforming secondary just a year ago. So Joe Burrow, if he wants to put up numbers, that week is going to be a fun one to watch. And then same thing with Philadelphia. I mean, those guys, Alshon Jeffrey can go deep and catch a 90-yard bomb touchdown any time of the day, really. If you fall asleep, Von Bell, Jesse Bates, they fall asleep for a play, Alshon Jeffrey's going to go call for that ball. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but that one's going to be a fun one to watch. I think it's going to be a high shooting game. I like the Dolphins too. The Bengals and the Dolphins, the number one, Joe Burrow versus Tua Tagovailoa. Man, that's going to be a good one to watch. I remember they were already hyping it right after the draft. I'm pretty sure like right after the draft, the NFL had like a cartoonish photo of Burrow and Tua, and it was like, stay tuned preview. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a fun one to watch. If Tua, I would assume by that week he would have taken the starting spot. If not, he's probably going to sit out the whole season. If he's not playing by that week, then I don't know. I'm assuming he's going to play by that week. So if he does, that one's going to be a very fun one to watch. Obviously, all Steelers and Bengals games, I don't want to say that they're fun. I want to say they're more of a fingernail-biting anxiety explosion. Obviously, always good to watch, though. And then obviously the Cowboys too. We have them here at home. Cowboys, obviously the most hated team around the NFL, most talent-filled team, dude. I mean, I feel like that's why they're so hated is because they have so much talent. I mean, they pay guys so much money. Okay, Amari Cooper's overpaid. I'll say that. If you want to call him overrated or not, he's overpaid. They paid way too much money for Amari Cooper. Terrible contract. I think Dak is overrated. I think I don't want to, fire shots or make anybody angry, but I don't think he's deserving of the money he wants. I'd rather play Andy Dalton. Who dey? I I don't want to say he's overrated, but I would not pay him much money. I would either trade him or let him walk and move on. But that puts, the Cowboys in a sticky situation because look how much talent and money they have tied up on that roster right now. Like, if they let those guys walk, there's so much talent on that team, man. But if Dak can't win with that roster, what roster do you expect him to win with? You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. If he can't win with that roster, dude, like, they have so much money tied up, they couldn't even probably get that many more guys on that team, especially with the money he wants. Once they pay him, dude, they're not signing anybody else besides in the draft. So, I don't know. I don't see that money going to Dak Prescott. I would never pay him that much money if it was me. But, I mean, do you guys think he's worth that money? Some people do. I mean, I've only seen Cowboys who think he's, worth that much. And I've seen a lot of Cowboys who say don't, get that, a greedy guy back on the team. Oop. Yeah, you guys said Dolphins, especially if Tua is playing. Definitely agree. That one's going to be a fun one to watch. Cincy versus Texans. Yeah, man. I mean, that's a winnable one right there. Texans are still a good team, even without Hopkins. Don't get that wrong. They are a good team still. But they became even of a beatable team. They're more beatable than what they were. A guy like DeAndre Hopkins, I don't care if he has the worst quarterback in the league or worst roster around him. The game is winnable for the Texans with that guy on the team. And when giving that up, oh, dude, that trade gives me anxiety because if the Bengals ever made a trade like that, I'd probably throw in the towel. I mean, and if you're the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, holy crap, man, you got a young quarterback who's really started to prove himself at the end of the season last year, and you get a guy like Hopkins to help him. Oh my gosh. I mean, did you guys see the thing where Kyler Murray didn't think the trade was real? There was something, I believe it was Bleacher Report. He went out there and said that when he first saw the trade, he didn't think it was real. Like, he had to double check that they actually got DeAndre Hopkins. And then he said when he found out, the first thing he did was go up on YouTube and look up DeAndre Hopkins highlights. So, I mean, he's a young kid. I like Kyler Murray, man. I mean, he seems like a very positive. He seems like a very glow guy. And every time I've watched him, that dude is giving 150% on every single play. I mean, that little guy gets knocked around a ton, but he hops back up every time. So I got nothing against Kyler Murray. I kind of think he's fun to watch too. And he got a hell of a player in DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, dude, just throw it up his way, and he's probably going to come down with it. I'm too biased against the Cowboys to have a non-negative opinion, and that's 95% of NFL fans, excluding the Cowboys. And they do it to themselves, man. They really do. Because every year it's Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, and they fall right on their ass. Even if they make the playoffs or even if they do, they're not going far. But my thing is, like, dude, they're in such a sticky situation with Dak Prescott because you have so much money already tied up outside of him that if you don't get him back, who's the guy? I mean, Andy Dalton? Who dey, baby? Put the Red Rocket in there, man. Give him a shot. Let him compete. But I mean, what do you guys think about the Andy Dalton situation? I didn't see it coming at all, him going there. But after it happened, I kind of, I saw why. He's a Texas boy going back there, probably doesn't have to play for a long time. And now he doesn't have preseason. He probably won't play snap at all unless Dak wants to sit out or whatever, which won't happen. But you know what I mean? I kind of didn't blame him after it happened, and I'm happy for him. But I wasn't like, oh, he's going to the Texans or he's going to Dallas. But I forgot what teams I had him going to though. But one of them was the Patriots. It was before the Cam Newton decision. I really thought that he was going to go to New England and be a system quarterback and be surrounded with the New England team, but obviously he didn't want to live that life over in New England. He did not want to go out to Siberia and be a Patriot. And that was pretty obvious. I mean, to be a system quarterback, Patriots, they got Cam Newton now. They got their guy, and the NFL messed up big time by letting that slide. The NFL let that. There's a big oof letting Cam Newton go to the Patriots. If you like Cam Newton or if you dislike him, dude, the opportunity there in New England is endless for that guy. So, good choice for him. And he's on a 1-year deal. So, even if he only is in New England for this year, if he plays good, he's probably then going to go get a contract somewhere else. And it's going to be a lot more than just $1 million. So, I don't blame the guy. I think it was a good decision for him, honestly. Just talking about Cam Newton, I think it was a great decision. Now, I mean, you have guys who, that are going to be backups, Jameis Winston, that are basically going to be the bench warmer and toss water bottles to guys like Drew Brees and all these cool guys. But I just wonder when you're someone like Jameis Winston, who can prove to throw like 5,000 yards in a season, let alone the turnovers, to go there and be like, hey, man, so I'm going to go basically be a bench rider behind Drew Brees. I'm not going to, take his spot right now. But if I sign here, you promise me in the future you'll give me a chance. Like, do you think that conversation is there? Because, because the front office, they don't want to talk about moving on from a quarterback like Drew Brees, because then what if that gets out? Oh, that's a big no-no. But at the same time, if you're Jameis Winston, how do you sign that cheap of a deal to go be a backup? But for the future, you could eventually take that team over. I mean, you have a very good offensive-minded coach who is very strategic, a pretty good roster, I'm not going to lie, a lot of talent on it, but a Hall of Fame quarterback who's coming to the end of his career. So that has to be a talk, right? Like, hey, in a couple years, this could be my team. But if Jameis Winston could lower that, if he could learn that, like lower his turnover rate, his future's honestly pretty bright, man. I like the guy. But I don't know. I feel like, some of the issues had in the past, you can't define a player off of, but you can definitely think twice. Like the crab legs thing, the Uber, the eye surgery. Like, would that eye surgery really turn around his career? Was that the problem why he was throwing a lot of interceptions? But like my thing with that, if that was why he was throwing so many interceptions, at the same time, how was he throwing a lot of good passes? I mean, the guy led the league in the NFL in throwing, with yards when it comes to passing. So I don't know. Imagine the rivalry between Baker and Burrow if they split games and Burrow ties/breaks Baker's rookie record. I'm telling you, man, if there's a player to do it, it is Joe Burrow with this weaponry attack he has with the offensive-minded coach he has. He could, man. And I'm telling you, even if Baker does pan out to be mediocre and the Browns do stick with him for at least the next 5 years, it's going to be a big rivalry because you got to think Big Ben will be out by the next 5 years. So that won't be really a rivalry. It would be their next guy up. So who are they draft? Which isn't going to be Mason Rudolph. He's not the guy. Who are the next man up? That would be a huge rivalry if they draft a franchise quarterback, him and Burrow. That's going to be huge for the next decade. And then Baker Mayfield, if he does pan out to at least play for the next 5 years, it's going to be a huge rivalry between him and Burrow. Who's going to run Ohio? You know what I mean? It's going to be Cincinnati or is it going to be Cleveland? Who's going to run Ohio? And who's going to be the better quarterback? So you're right. It could be huge. So if he breaks the record or not, it's going to be a rivalry. And Lamar Jackson. But to even make that a rivalry, Joe Burrow has to get to his level first. I mean, he just coming off MVP and all that good stuff. He's gonna have to complete a little bit before he even, that's even a conversation. But it is one to think. Lamar Jackson's young. If he can stay healthy and not take a big hit, because look, dude, is like what it is in the NFL, man. It's one big hit, especially for a quarterback, and that can change the style of the game. And Lamar Jackson is not going to be able to run like that for his whole career. Lamar Jackson is not going to be 32 years old running and breaking ankles. You know what I mean? So at some point in time, Lamar Jackson's going to have to, lean on that arm. And I would, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm not necessarily scared or, like afraid of that happening. But at some point in time, he's going to have to rely on that arm. And he has time. Lamar Jackson's youngest MVP of all time or whatever it may be. I like the guy. I love watching Lamar. If you don't like watching Lamar, you're just a straight up hater. The guy is so exhilarating and fun to watch. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the NFL where I might not like their team, I not like their owner, I might not like their coach, but like you can't deny he's a fun player to watch. And that's Lamar Jackson. Dude makes plays. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun one to watch how his career pans out. Because it could be Burrow versus Jackson too. I mean, if you think about it, if Burrow pans out, if Baker sticks around, and Lamar Jackson stays healthy, those are already 3 of the 4 team quarterbacks for the next 10 years plus. It could be longer than a decade where those quarterbacks are locked up. Joe Burrow is going to be at least 10 years. Obviously, if they stay and healthy and stay on the team, don't leave the contract, whatever. Theoretically, it could be Burrow, Jackson, and Baker, 3 guys. I mean, those are huge rivalries all between those 3 guys. The reason why I'm not putting Big Ben in here is because he'll be retired in the next 3-5 years. So it would be the next guy up for Pittsburgh, and it's not Mason Rudolph. Although I hope it is, because I know he's not the guy. I really hope they stick with Mason Rudolph. That'd be funny. But yeah, I mean, if you think about our division's gonna be tough for a long time. But at the same time, do you want an easy division? I mean, yeah, but I want a fun one, competitive one to watch with a lot of rivalries, a lot of, fights, which we usually get in this division anyway. Yeah, I mean, Bruce Arians is pretty freaking extreme when it comes to throwing the ball in his aerial attack. So, and then yes, the shootouts because Tampa usually fell behind early, so they got to throw to get back into the game. There was a lot of reasons. It wasn't just Jameis Winston. There was a lot of reasons added into it. So, a new look, a new uniform, a new number on him isn't such a bad idea after all. Ooh, Mr. Rage said, you think our defense can be top 10 or 15? It can. The ceiling for our defense is high, but let me tell you something. Come in. Our defensive line, top 5. Okay. Top 5. It's a really good defensive line, but they're going to have to carry. And those veterans are going to have to really prove to Cincinnati that they are the veteran presence because, Carlos Dunlap, Geno Atkins, those guys, they're going to have a loud voice in our defense. The morale, those are the guys going to be bringing it. Okay, let's move on back. Let's go to the linebacking crew. Linebacking crew is, if you fish for crab or if you're on a boat, you're a greenhorn. And like if the greenhorn is very young or very new, you say they're, green as a green bean because they're very greenhorn. Whatever. I watch some stuff. But I watched that crab show lately. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is the point is our linebacking crew is so young, man, and they have so much to prove. Our linebacking crew can come out and be mediocre at best. They can come out and have a lot of, communication issues. A lot of guys who are young and haven't seen a lot of NFL play yet or any NFL play, so they could come out there and get smoked up in the aerial attack, miss tackles. I mean, there's so much to worry about with this linebacking crew, but at the same time, this linebacking crew is young, hungry, and ready to go. I mean, we have guys that, all right, go out. You go in. All right, Bynes is out. All right, go in there. Like, we have so many guys that aren't first string guys, but can be first string guys. So many guys that have so much to prove, but have to prove it. So our linebacking crew, they got to step up, but they're very young, and we got to see what they can produce. Now let's go to our corners. Our corners, you got to talk about a lot of new guys. So we're talking about Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Waynes, guys who wrap up very well. They can tackle guys if need be. Don't make a lot of big mistakes. They aren't the best. They give up some, plays in coverage, one-on-one or whatever maybe, but who does it? But the good thing is they don't give a lot of big plays, and they can tackle unlike Drake Kirkpatrick. William Jackson, who, last year he kind of had a botchy year, but the whole team did, let's be honest. There were reports saying that he did play through injury, and that did play a factor in it. If he's lying or not, probably not lying. That's a big factor. But if he comes back healthy, ready to go, he saw this Cincinnati teams bringing in cornerbacks and brought in 2 cornerbacks from the same team. So, hey, playing for snaps, they're going to be fighting for, first string, second string, who's going to be the slot. So, William Jackson has a lot to prove to Cincinnati this season. And I think if he's going to break out, this could very well be the season where he breaks out because he's going to have to earn it. So we have our secondary also has a lot to prove because we got 2 new guys who are going to come in and play right away. But they can very well be mediocre, if not above average. And then what I'm probably most excited for on the defense is our safeties. We could have like a top 5, top 10 safety duo in the NFL from 2020 to like 2025, maybe even longer. I mean, 2 very young guys who the ceiling is so high. First off, Jesse Bates. If you're in Cincinnati, you know Jesse Bates. You love Jesse Bates. You know Jesse Bates is going to get a Pro Bowl, if not this season, within the next 2-3 seasons. I would put money on it. Jesse Bates is going to get himself a Pro Bowl very soon. I love the guy. He's amazing. He's going to do a lot of great things. And then you pair him with Von Bell. If you haven't already, go watch some Von Bell highlights. The guy's a highlight reel. He brings a lot of energy to the team, which is what our defense has lost over the past few years. Losing Pac-Man and Vontaze, Patrick, losing Pac-Man kind of hurt him, I feel like. But, losing a lot of these older guys that used to be on the team that brought a lot of grit and, audacity to the defense, we just lost in the past few years. And I feel like we've kind of been hurting from that. But Von Bell is a guy who can come in and bring some of that back here in Cincinnati. I mean, Von Bell plays like someone just smacked his mom on the butt, and he's now going to go after that guy. I mean, dude, he plays very aggressive. I like his style of game. And I feel like with him and Jesse Bates being paired up, they're going to build up a bond for the next few years that's going to be amazing. That don't get me wrong, there will be a video on DC TV probably fairly soon about those 2 guys and what they can bring to Cincinnati for the next half decade to a decade. Very fun football. And yeah, I'm very excited to have 2 safeties back there because, when our linebackers do mess up, because it is going to happen because they're young and they haven't played with each other, whatever it may be, hasn't seen an NFL system, whatever it may be, when they mess up, we have 2 very well safeties that are going to be able to wrap up guys. We have corners who I like how we didn't just go after playmaking corners, but corners that are very good at tackling. That's going to help because what did the Bengals do last year? Missed tackles. The Bengals missed so many tackles last year. It was ridiculous. Everybody missed a tackle, like multiple. And that kind of left Jesse Bates left open on an island a lot of the time when it came to, having to recover from somebody missing a tackle. So, I don't know, man. I feel like the Bengals, they made some good moves, man. I'm not going to lie. Zach Taylor did a great job this offseason, and obviously Mike Brown, it's his money, so. What is the scariest rookie on each division team? Well, I mean, you always have to say Joe Burrow. Let's be honest. We will start with the Ravens. Let me go ahead and look at the Ravens full draft. It's a good question. I love questions like this. Do a little research, dive into it. Man. Look, man, Patrick Queen, the linebacker from LSU that went to Baltimore, is very scary. But what I think could be scary in the future is J.K. Dobbins. I don't know how he's going to do in his rookie season. He's really going to have to fight for playing time. He's on a loaded running back crew. I mean, it's very deep there. And what do? They run the ball. But I think right away, Patrick Queen. But for the long run, J.K. Dobbins, man, he is a hell of a playmaker, man. And he can make a lot of players miss. So I'm going to say that for the Ravens. Next up, we will do the doghouse. We will do the Browns. Let's see. Do I really think any of these guys are scary? I mean, they picked Jedrick Wilson the first round, so I don't really consider him scary. Honestly, man, I'm gonna go with a little bit of a sleeper. I'm gonna go with Grant Delpit. I guess he's not a sleeper because he was second round, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna go Grant Delpit, the safety. I wasn't a big fan of their draft. I mean, I guess they went offensive line, which they need most, so I guess they went for what they needed, so I can't hate too much, but definitely Grant Delpit I'd probably pick. I think he can really be a bust, though. I think he's really a boomer bust player. And we will find out. We will find out what he is. And then the Steelers, who, don't get me wrong, the Steelers' defensive front, it's already something to not be afraid of, but like definitely have on your mind because they got some guys up there in the defensive front, man. I hope our offensive line comes ready to play. I hope they're ready. Looking at Pittsburgh. I don't know, man. None of these guys really pop out at me, if you want me to be honest. Just because, okay, so they drafted linebacker Alex Highsmith from Charlotte. Is he gonna play day one? I don't think he will. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really covered much. I've watched zero film of the guy, so I have no idea. So nothing really gets me there. And they drafted Chase Claypool in the second round. He's all right, but T. Higgins definitely is a lot better than Chase Claypool. Come on now. So, good question though. I really enjoyed that one. This is a good one too because this one could be a game changer for Cincinnati fans and what we have to go through for the next decade plus. If Burrow pans out, do you think Mike Brown will keep paying money in free agency? I think this is a huge pointer that a lot of people don't think about. And yeah, if Joe Burrow is playing very well, top 15, probably top 10 quarterback play in the league over these next 3 seasons, yeah, he's going to have to pay some people, and he's going to have to continue paying. I mean, even if we are struggling to win games because we're young, let's say we don't make the playoffs, but Joe Burrow still is playing very competitive and showing, a lot of potential, Mike Brown will be forced to spend money. And you can't bring in Zach Taylor and pair him up with the number 1 draft pick quarterback and not expect him to want to keep diving into the free agency each and every year. Like, you would just have to be an idiot to think that. So, yeah, man, if Joe Burrow pans out to be what we think he is, the Bengals are going to be forced. Their hands are going to be tied up, and they're going to have to pay money because they really don't have a choice. Let's be honest. But, I mean, there's not many guys we have tied up right now. We don't have a lot of guys tied up, which feels good. But if Joe Burrow keeps playing the way he does, that might not be for long. We might go out there and make a big play on somebody. But you got to think we're going to have to tie up AJ Green this next year if he plays well. Tyler Boyd's locked up on a pretty fair contract. I'm okay with it. We got to get Joe Mixon. So, I mean, there are some guys we're going to have to tie up over this next year or two. But we're going to have money. And it would be smart to do it while he's on his rookie contract. Get some good guys in here, some Pro Bowlers, and lock them up before we have to pay Burrow. If Burrow pans out his rookie's contract, 4 or 5 years, whatever it may be. Let's get some good guys in here to help him before you have to pay Burrow. Because if guys are already getting paid hundreds of $1 million here in 2020, what do you think quarterbacks are going to be getting paid in 2024, 2025? The money's only going to keep rising each and every year. That's why, yes, the Patrick Mahomes deal is insane. I totally agree. But by 2030, you don't know how much quarterbacks are going to be getting paid, no matter if you're the best in the league or if you're mediocre. It just keeps rising and rising and rising each and every year. Like, people thought the Kirk Cousins deal was crazy. And yeah, it was a lot of money, especially guaranteed. But like, you look at it now and yeah, it's still a sore thumb, but it's not like, wow, that's crazy. And it's only been 3 years, 2 years? And that's kind of scary to think about. I mean, look what Ryan Tannehill just got paid. Ryan Tannehill. Yes, he had a good QBR. Yes, he did decent and, when it counted, obviously in the postseason. Is Ryan Tannehill really worth that money? How valuable is Ryan Tannehill? And what made me angry in that situation was how much disrespect was really to the running back position, because there's so much disrespect to the running back position in the first place. It's just what it is in the NFL in 2020. But the fact you locked up him with that much money, one, and two, way before you lock up King Henry, dude, if I was Derrick Henry, that would have took a toll on me. Obviously, he ended up getting paid $12.5 million at the end of the day, so who cares? It's over. Whatever. But that just shows you the lack of respect and really solitude the running back position has in general. How lackadaisical players are getting paid. But then you look at guys like Le'Veon Bell, who got paid all that money, went to a new team. Look at him now. Done nothing. Not one squat. And hasn't really performed up to the contract at all. And really has just caused a lot of problems. I mean, anytime I see Jets news, it's Le'Veon Bell causing issues or hurt or whatever it may be. And then there's people who are like, your running back is only as much as your offense creates them or your offense line makes them to. For example, like they say Le'Veon Bell was as good as he was in Pittsburgh because how great the Steelers' offensive line was. The Steelers' offensive line was amazing, top 3 in the league probably. And Le'Veon Bell was running in between, around, up that entire offensive line all those seasons. And then he goes to the Jets where the offensive line is crap. And look what he produces. But the reason why I'm so positive about Joe Mixon and his situation, you can't say Joe Mixon is only as good as his offensive line. Because look at the offensive line we've had these past few seasons. I mean, if you literally look up Joe Mixon highlights, he's not running through wide open gaps for a touchdown. He's running back 5 yards, evading 3 defenders, cutting up for 15-yard first down. Those are Joe Mixon highlights. So we know, depending on how good the offense line is or not, he can produce and he will produce. I mean, if he can do this with the below average offensive line, what are you going to think he's going to do if we can really get a good offensive line? If we can get a top 10, top 15 offensive line these next few years, he's going to produce a hell of a lot more than what he's done already. And people are already top 5, top 8 running back in the league. And look at what he's running through. So that's what I'm saying. Our offense line, we can't just draft. Yes, draft's going to help. We're going to get some young guys. We're going to save a little bit of money, but we have to trade or sign some guys this next year or two. We just have to. One, we got to protect our franchise, quarterback, Joe Burrow. We got to protect him. But do we want Joe Mixon to pan out to the running back we want? Do we want him to, max out his potential? I don't know, man. I always get into that topic about running backs. It's so, touchy and sensitive about paying them long term, paying them short term, and then how much you should pay them. I don't know, man. I just think that I feel a little bit more comfortable with his situation just because we know he can produce with a bad offensive line. What do you think you're going to do with a good or above average offensive line? You can't say that with Le'Veon Bell. He ran with probably the best offensive line in the league, went to a very below average offensive line, and look what he's done in New York. It's not squat, besides cause locker room issues. So that's why when I see some Bengals fans hesitating about paying him, I can understand why. The running back position with contracts have been a mess. I get it. I've seen it happen. We've all seen it happen, right? But that's what makes me feel the best about the situation is that I know our running back isn't produced because of our offensive line. And that's how I feel. If there are any players from the XFL, if you've watched, do you wish the Bengals would have signed? I would have liked them to go after the 6'8" tight end from the Renegades. Man was a beast. I didn't watch too much of the XFL. If anything, I really just watched kind of highlights. I don't think I ever sat down and watched a full game. I've sat down and watched quarters, a half. But the majority of the time, it was just like cool highlights, honestly. But it's gonna be hard because yes, there's training camp, but there's no preseason, so you can't bring a guy on, throw him in a preseason game where the score doesn't count, and just see how he does. You can't do that this season. So I feel like there's not going to be as much as that as there probably would have been with there being preseason games. But yeah, I'm sure there's some guys that could have made some NFL teams, but just aren't going to because of COVID. But at the same time, they're going to be teams with very good rosters like Kansas City, where there's going to be above mediocre talent players who are going to get cut because they weren't able to see enough of him in training camp. And teams like Cincinnati Bengals and other kind of bottom dweller teams as of right now can go sign those guys where they can compete. Because if you sign a linebacker right now that from like Kansas City, who can't even make the roster. You throw him out there in Cincinnati, he's probably not going to start, but he might get some playing time with these young guys, especially if he's a veteran. So it's good, but it's also bad, man. But for the Bengals, I don't know, man. We can see. But yeah, XFL for me was kind of more of a highlight thing that I watched. There were some cool highlights, not going to lie. I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that. It means the world. Hoo-day, man. I know we are all ready to watch Burrow hop on that field, man. I think there's 50 more days. 50 more days until kickoff. I'm so excited, man. Oh, I'm so excited. I appreciate that. If you are just like this guy and you've came in and you enjoyed yourself, please hit that like button. It means the world. It does so much for me. Hit that subscribe button. That's the most important. We're on hashtag Road to 2K. And if you get any free time, check out some of my other videos when you get a chance. I do all Cincinnati sports content here. So I'm sure there's going to be some Reds content coming up here soon with the season about to kick off on Friday. And yeah, man, I really appreciate all of you joining the stream. We are an hour and 20 minutes in. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to go, as this is my first late night stream. It is 10:59 p.m. here, obviously in the Queen City. So it's getting kind of late, but I having some fun with this late night stream. It's a little different. I just saw an article in Bengals Wire where Joe Burrow still on contract stuck. I don't know, man. Look it up on Google. I'm just going off what I see on Google, but honestly, I'm not too worried anyway, just because I know the deal's going to get done and he's already in Cincinnati and it's already a big deal. So I just kind of don't like thinking about it because it kind of stresses me out. And it's not your fault at all, but it's just like that topic kind of stresses me out. Like I just want to, 50 more days. Let's get some practice going. No preseason, so I guess more training camp and get to the season and let's watch some football. If it's from the TV, it's from the stadium. Obviously, no tailgating this season if you're a Cincinnati native. But there's still a lot of ways you can watch the game, and I'm sure DCTV is going to be live on YouTube if you want to come join the party. Which I've kind of been flirting with the idea, if I should do that or not. I've had a lot of guys come tell me, "Hey, man, on game days, can you come on here and just maybe broadcast or just have an area where Bengals fans can come in here. We can literally talk live while watching the game." Now, if I did do that, I've stated many times I cannot show the game on YouTube. So the only thing you could see is like me, or I could have some of you guys join in, and I could do like I could have literally people join the stream with me. It would literally be so fun. Like I could literally have you guys join the stream with me and just talk sports. Now, I'd obviously have to gain some trust in whoever I were going to bring on the show. But yeah, man. I mean, the opportunities are endless. You wouldn't be able to watch the game, but I could literally have the game pulled up right here, and I could literally be commentating, broadcasting, anything play by play if you guys want to see that. And I could also do, there's a whole bunch of things. I have a whole bunch of my notes sections just filled of ideas that I can do with the season. It's been so slow with COVID and everything that even though we're growing 50K views, 1,000 subscribers in like 4 months, that's amazing. But imagine how much bigger these TVs are going to get just when the season starts. I'm super excited, and I honestly couldn't do this without you guys. So I'm excited. And guess what? Who dey? Oh, man. I'm going to need to get something that can let me watch the Bengals game because I'm in Louisiana. Well, if you got DirecTV, you can buy the pass, which is what my family does. Obviously, it costs money, but there's legal sites, honestly, that you can maybe get into, but they're very sketchy. Not going to recommend it because I don't want your computer to get viruses or your phone. But there are sketchy sites out there that you can get it on here. And like I said, you could always join me, and you won't be able to see the game here, but you would listen to me commentate while you're watching the Saints or whoever you want to watch. So, yeah. Totally, man. I mean, you honestly just gotta dig through. I have DirecTV. Like I said, we get the season pass every year, so you can get a whole bunch of games. I know most TV providers have something like that. You obviously there's a payment with that. But yeah, I mean, I just know a lot of people who obviously you can't watch even when you can't watch the game, but you at least want to hear something. Yes, you can turn on the radio, but I know a lot of people just go on YouTube. I've done it in the past and just find YouTubers of like the game that's going on. So like there's not bunch of YouTubers here in Cincinnati, but if the Bengals are playing the Saints, I would go up and look up YouTube live, and you go to the category and look up like Bengals versus Saints, and there's at least one person out there with either broadcasting the game or two, like an like the ESPN app, how it'll just have like the scoreboard. So someone will just have like a graphic of like Saints, Bengals, 5 timeouts, 4 timeouts, 7-0, 1st and 10, and then it has like the graphic or whatever. At least some people have that. So if you can't watch the game, there's definitely alternatives of at least joining in and having a good time. So at least that's what I'm going to try to do if I do decide to do that, which we'll have to see. Oh yeah, man. Man, hour and 25 minutes already tonight. I'm really enjoying this. All my other streams, if you're not with the get-go already, I post twice a week, both at noon, Tuesday, Saturday at noon. DCTV, I will come out with the video every single time. And then every other day, if I get free time, I just stream. So like today is Wednesday, and I was like, I'm bored. I got nothing better to do. I'm just going to come on here and stream and talk some sports because I love doing that. Oh, that's a good one. I'll pay as long as I don't have to watch 5 Patriots and Cowboys primetime games this season. That's a good one. Yeah, man. I think it's called the Ticket Pass or something like that on DirecTV. You get every single game of every single team each week. So literally every game. If it's in London, Mexico, which obviously they're not doing that, but like anyway, from LA to New York, you get every single game at every time. So it's fantastic. That's what I've always done. And it's cool because like they have little panels. So they'll have a channel with like 10 games on, or like maybe like 6 games on. And you can like scroll over each game and they'll have like the audio playing. I don't know. DirecTV is pretty cool, but when it's bad weather, it kind of sucks. There's been some Sundays where games have got interrupted because of the DirecTV little satellite thingy. But yeah, man, if I do decide to do the play-by-play or just party here, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I'm gonna do it week 1, but I'll probably end up trying it. Sometime I will probably end up trying doing that just because I could probably get a big fan spike. I mean, it would probably be a lot of fun. I mean, not saying you guys aren't active because you guys are definitely active for only having around 1,000 subscribers for my streams, I get a lot of comments, which is amazing, a lot of interaction, and that's exactly what I want on DCTV. Every single person at every single moment in the stream, I want them saying something. If it's a question, a statement, a hey, hello, like I want my live streams interactive. And every single live stream I've had, this is my 7th one. Every single one of them has been very interactive. And I couldn't imagine if I streamed during game day. Like, I'm sure the comment section would be hectic. And that's kind of what I want. Obviously, I want it peaceful and I want it positive because I want a positive outlook on Cincinnati sports because I feel like Cincinnati doesn't get enough of it. National media on a national media base and in a Cincinnati base, it just doesn't happen. So I feel like when you come to DCTV, we're going to have a positive outlook. We're going to have a good time and just enjoy some sports, man, because sports are awesome. And it's honestly been so depressing without it. And now we're getting the NBA back. We're getting MLB back. And we're getting the NFL back in about 50 days. So, I mean, there's a lot to be excited for. And I feel like a reason why it could be really fun is because at least in Cincinnati, there is no tailgating allowed. So where are all those tailgating fans going to go? Right here in DCTV, man. I would literally think that would be so fun to do a tailgating like live right before game day. What do you guys think about that? I think that would be crazy. Have music playing. I can bring some, have music playing, bringing you guys literally onto my stream once I build some trust, having a good time talking about the matchup, talking about a preview, why the Bengals are going to win, why the Bengals are going to struggle. Like, I just think it'll be a go time. I don't know. I think it's a big thing because obviously no tailgating, which is a huge thing in Cincinnati. So, okay. I hate to say it, but I think we will re-sign AJ to a long-term contract that he'll like next year. I do too. I think we'll end up locking him up, but hopefully at the right price. So right now on his contract tender, he's getting $18.2 million, which is ridiculous. It's like third tied in the NFL, something crazy like that. For a long-term deal, I do think a fair one for both the Bengals franchise and AJ Green would be anywhere from like 10 to 14 million over 2-3 years. I think he said he wants a 4-year deal. I don't know about that, but anywhere from 8 to 14, depending on how he plays this season and if he stays healthy. He has to stay healthy, man. If he doesn't stay healthy, I don't even know if he'll be a Bengal in the year following. At least we would have. I mean, if he gets hurt and like we pay him very cheap, but to lock him up to his career, then he stays healthy, then he comes back to being AJ. That'd be crazy. But I don't know, man. I do want AJ to retire here as a Bengal because you don't get that very often in the modern NFL, let alone in Cincinnati. But I want him to retire here. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been a great player. I have a lot of memories growing up with, AJ Green being the guy. But at the right price, man, it has to be 18 to hopefully 12 million, but realistically probably 14. At least that's what I want at tops. I already went through the last stream and went through all the top guys' salary for receivers in the league. And with this tender, it puts them up there because that's what a tender is. But I don't know, man. Are there any other rivalries other than divisional that the Bengals have that I need to know about? I mean, I guess you could say, yeah. Every team has like small rivalries or you know what I mean? Like teams they don't like. I guess some people say the 49ers. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna just put it on Google and see what Google says. So obviously divisional is Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. I'm sure you already know that one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, man, fights every single game. If it's postseason, regular season, whatever it is, if you will tune into a live, you will probably hear me going nuts during a game because there's probably a fight. It is crazy. So Google says Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, the 49ers, the Texans, the Colts, and the Patriots. That makes sense. I agree with that. There you go. I'll say it one more time. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, 49ers, Texans, Colts, and Patriots. And I'm sure you could only tell about the Patriots heating up with the Spygate or whatever. The Patriots had to spy on the freaking 1-15 Bengals for some reason. That kind of hurt my mind a little bit. A live tailgate would be insane. That's what I'm thinking, man. A lot of interaction, a lot of growth here. I really think a really fun time. Like, we get up to, the stream gets anywhere from 10 to 30 viewers in these first 7 streams that I've gotten. And even with, when I get into those 20s, it's pretty decently hectic for me. Like, I have to keep up with the comments. And because, this is a Q&A, but it's also just any interesting sport topics. So I couldn't imagine 50 plus maybe on a tailgate or just a live interaction of a game, man. Now, it sounds a lot of fun. I mean, I'm doing these streams anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours most of the time. If I'm doing a tailgate / in-game stream, you guys are going to give me so many ranting topics that I know it's going to be at least 2+ hours. So we'll see, man. Make sure you stick around to find out. If you haven't, hit the subscribe button, man. Join the DCTV family. I'll be down to watch your reactions for the games. That's what every streaming gets brought up. Like, I don't know. It just gets brought up every stream, and it just keeps me thinking. But, like, Sundays, I just graduated high school, so now I'm college. So, obviously, I'm school Monday through Friday. And so, Sundays have always been, like, my relaxing day. My dad makes buffalo chicken dip, skyline dip. And we just sit on the couch and don't get our ass up and just eat dip and watch football and tweet. So, like, yes, that will get taken away from me because I'll be up here streaming. But, if it's what is going to be entertaining and what can grow my channel, I will do it. But that obviously is going to suck because that's kind of, a little bit of my bonding time with my family and a chill time. But, going into college, I'm only going to be going to school 3 days a week, and majority of school is going to be hybrid this year with COVID. So I'm sure it won't be too big of a deal. We might be able to work out something. But like Monday night and Thursday night games, I know no matter what, I'll be streaming those games, Monday night and Thursday night. I can't speak for every Sunday football, every Sunday, but Monday and Thursday, these are going to be good ones. Be a fun one. So this is I've spoke to a few people about this. If you ever get big enough in the season, would you consider making a Discord server? Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty not very knowledgeable of Discord. I can edit pretty well at Final Cut Pro. I know I'm pretty good at streaming, get my hands deep in YouTube, but Discord's kind of one thing I'm not very knowledgeable at. But I've had guys who want to do some servers with me, and my network that I'm with, they've talked about doing some things. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I can do, but that's just something I have to dig into and learn how to do. So but that would be probably pretty fun. I just know Discord's one thing that can get very interesting very quickly. So yeah, but any way to build the DCTV family, I'm definitely down doing so. Christina Anderson, how are you doing? Oh, it's kind of a shock. How are you doing? It's good to see you. I really, really appreciate that. If you can, you see the X? Hold on. I know you see the Xavier and the AirPod case. Gotta rock the X. We are an hour and 35 minutes in on the stream, guys. What time is it? It's 11:15. I need to get in touch with Sherwin very soon. Actually, I would love to do that very soon. Oh my god. Okay, this is going off. And if you guys know anything about pop filters, I gotta buy a pop filter very soon because this pop filter has to go. And if you guys like the sound of the audio, I've gotten a new microphone, the Blue Yeti. I had the Blue Snowball Ice before this. It was a pretty good microphone, but I've had it for years, trying to do past projects and everything and schooling and all that. And it was a good mic, but decided to invest into this Blue Yeti. It's very sleek looking. I just need to find a good pop filter for it so you don't hear many pops into the mic, to help your ear, especially the pop filter is good, like mainly for everything, but especially for, headphone users and AirPod users. So hold on, let's see, guys. All right, guys, give me a topic. Give me a question. We're slowing down a little bit. Finally, after an hour and 30 minutes in, we're starting to slow down a little bit, but that's okay. finally take some time to slow down. And this is kind of a test for me because, like I said, this is my first late night stream. Every stream's been around noon or in the afternoon, so a lot of my main guys aren't here right now, but that's okay. You're gonna miss a stream every now and then, and I've seen that as I'm building up the DCTV fan base and we're getting bigger. I see people commenting like, "Hey man, I'm sorry I missed the premiere." Or, "Hey man, I'm sorry I missed the live stream." It's like, all right, we all miss them. We'll catch you in the next one. My boy, Easy E, what's up, man? Eric, you liking the NBA so far? Man, it is such a big change. Like it's so not the same, but you have to be happy that we actually have it. We have something to watch, and it's fairly interesting. I feel like I need the postseason. The postseason's got to come, and I got to see LeBron play. LeBron hasn't played yet, so the GOAT has to be there on the court. Like there's nothing better to watch than postseason LeBron himself. The GOAT himself. So once I see LeBron on the court, postseason starts. LeBron's averaging 30, 10, and 10. It's going to be fun to watch, but we just got to get there. Got to keep the players healthy. Got to keep the bubble. The bubble is a very interesting topic as well. If I was more of an NBA guy, that bubble would probably be all I'm talking about. Guys are snitching on each other. Guys are sneaking Uber food in and trying to sneak girls in, and like they literally have a snitch hotline. So it's very interesting, the bubble and how it's working so far. But yeah, man, LeBron's going all the way this season. I feel DJ Reader should have been rated higher on Madden. They didn't want multiple 90 overall on D. Yeah, man, I think he's only like mid 80s. But, the thing with Madden, they always say, oh, it's not about the starting overall, it's about the end overall. They'll build guys up or take some guys down. So he's probably going to get moved up depending on how he does. I'm sure he will. DJ Reader, like I said, he doesn't fill the stat sheet. So when I saw that, I wasn't too surprised. They're looking for guys to go out there and really fill that stat sheet, sell a lot of jerseys and be very popular, like Aaron Donald, who shouldn't be a 99, at least in my opinion, but I think he should be 97 plus, but you know what I mean? So DJ Reader will move up during the season. I totally agree, but it's Cincinnati, man. They're not they're not. It's Cincinnati. You gotta expect it. Let's just say theoretically, if Lamar Jackson gets corona the week before we play the Ravens, would your Mally accept the win? Look, man, I don't even want to jinx it. I don't even want to jinx it because if Lamar Jackson gets it with Joe Burrow gets it, don't even put that in my mind. But yeah, for sure. But in my mind, I don't want any players to get it. I don't want any players' families to get it. I want us to, as best as we can, control it. Even if that means we have to put the players in a bubble, just like the NBA or whatever we have to do. I already know they're doing little things like they're cutting off, I believe, no airplanes. I believe it's bus drives only. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just the NBA. I don't know. One of the NBA wouldn't be bus driving if they're in the bubble, but I saw something with like bus driving only to some games, and I don't know how that would help. But like I know they're trying. They're really trying, but honestly, the NFL is going to have to try harder because recently on Twitter, you guys have probably seen the outrage of some of these NFL players just saying that they don't want to get their family sick. And I mean, you don't blame them. I mean, you have guys like Russell Wilson, who has a very professional voice in sports. I haven't seen many more professional guys than Russell Wilson in sports in general. He's came out and has faced some discouragement. A lot of big names, so the NFL really needs to come out and get something positive on the board. The mask was a very hit or miss thing, and it missed big time. The people didn't like the response of the Oakley mask. They got to get a win here. 50 days until the season starts, and the NFL needs something to take up on the players and lift their leg up and say, "Hey, man, we got it. We got it from here." So we need some positivity, man. Like, I know it's hard to be positive in the kind of world we're in right now with everything going on. It's harder to be positive than normal, and it really is. Like, let's be honest. Every day is a little bit harder than what it was before, Corona. But we have to accept the fact. Let's be grateful that sports is even happening. Okay, we're missing on a month of preseason football, but hey, man, we still have 16, 17 weeks of regular season football and the postseason. Like, let's be pumped. We're getting NBA basketball. We get to see LeBron win a ring this season. Like, we get to watch the Cincinnati Reds get to play out this season. Like, there's many things to be grateful for, and it's kind of discouraging seeing all the hate on social media towards like these leagues. Like MLB's been getting a lot of hate this past month. I I disagree with the owner, so I can see why that's happening. But like, man, if you go to the NFL and like go to their Twitter, man, they've been getting shredded. It's just like, come on, man, let's be grateful there's a season. You know what I mean? Like, and it's very both ways. There's definitely guys very grateful and humble and want to get the season started and are super excited. And there's also guys in the other spectrum, like, there's no season, it's not happening, blah, 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 this, that. And it's kind of, discouraging. But like, we're in such a negative time. Let's find some positivity. And sports is that for me. It always has been and always will be. If I'm playing or if I'm commentating, if I'm watching, whatever it may be, sports just brings joy to my heart. And that's why I kind of started DCTV. That's why I'm going to sports broadcasting at college. I really enjoy it, man. So let's just all be positive. And that's what kind of DCTV is about. Obviously, I'm infotainment quality, the quality infotainment footage here of all Cincinnati sports coverage, but with a spin on it, a positive spin. Unless there's obviously a negative topic, then I might have to, be brutally honest. If Ross and Green both have seasons, which one would you rather keep? Green. And you might be like, whoa, like Ross would still have, he'd probably have his prime coming up if he stays healthy. But I would rather Green retire with the Bengals than Ross fight for spots, like a roster spot the next few years. And, if you're definitely okay with disagree with me on this one, because if John Ross does turn into something, that would be really cool to see and really fun to watch. But I've stated this before. I don't see John Ross coming back with a good season or a bad season. No scenario do I see him coming back, which sucks because if he doesn't, it always sucks having a first round pick like that. I mean, look at Laquan Treadwell with the Vikings. He was supposed to be a lifetime general player. Comes in, he's gone. He's gone. So there's always going to be players like that are very hit or miss. And John Ross was a very, made you lick your lips when he got up to the draft pick. And obviously, so far, it just hasn't turned out to what it should have been. And it is what it is, right? You got to take your L sometimes. And Cincinnati took theirs. And I just feel like as much as I want John Ross to, become a very good receiver, I don't think he'll be in Cincinnati. I feel like Cincinnati needs to move on. I feel like he needs to move on as well, because I feel like even if he has a mediocre season, I feel like somebody will give him a chance. But I believe he might have to get that chance on special teams somewhere else. And that's why I think if he did try out for special teams, it could be very beneficial for him. Because even if the Bengals don't bring him back, that's going to help him big time with other teams across the league. Because they might know, hey, John Ross might not work out at receiver. He might not be that guy. But special teams, he can be that guy. So I think it'd be beneficial for him. But I just don't see a scenario where he comes back next year. It's kind of just one of those things where no matter the scenario, you just don't think he'll be able to turn it back on. But I like John Ross. And it's just unfortunate, man. It's real unfortunate. I got nothing against him either. I've talked to Bengals fans who like hate this guy's guts and are like, shame on you, and are just like, oh, you're a waste of a draft pick and all that good stuff. It's like, dude, you got to remember the Bengals chose him. Reality, Bill. The Cincinnati Bengals chose John Ross at the end of the day. If it's a bad pick, why are you mad at him? Yeah, mad at him because he got injured. It sucks, man. If he never got injured and he still never turned out, then I could be like, okay, I could see where some of the hate's coming from, you know. But look at the injuries this guy's been with, and now look at the receiver crew that he's been challenged with. All of a sudden, you have T. Higgins going to be taking his spot. Alden Tate's shot up out of nowhere. Tyler Boyd's proved himself to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. And a healthy A.J. Green's coming back to the field, who is a top 10 receiver in the league. And then there's John Ross, the first-round draft pick of a couple years ago, who hasn't done jack squat. Look, man, nothing against the guy. But at the end of the day, the NFL's a business. And if you're not making plays, you're probably not on a team. If Ross has a good season, I'd love it because he could get us a second rounder for next year, maybe. And that's what I'm saying. By all means, I hope he has a bounce back season. I really do. I really hope John Ross has a good year. Odds are against them, but there's obviously a possibility. But in my opinion, unless something changes, I just don't see him returning. But maybe he comes back and we get some trade bait out of him. Maybe we trade him for a second rounder or a mediocre offensive lineman. What if he's good and we use him as trade bait? We trade him for a good offensive tackle. Trade him for a guard, trade him for a center, trade him for a draft pick. You know, the Bengals aren't the most aggressive team, but when they realize they kind of messed up on that draft pick, maybe they'll turn at least it into something, you know, better than nothing. So that's all we can hope for. And there's kind of my positivity thing with, you know, you gotta, you know, it's not the most positive situation, but let's turn it into something positive. Let's see the guy finish, you know, his last year strong. But let's hope him do good so the Bengals can get something out of return, maybe a draft pick or something. So you gotta find the positive and the negative, man. That's one thing I live by. You gotta find the positive and the negative for sure. But yeah, it would be cool to see him have a good season. Ooh, this one is. There are a lot of doubters in sports media on Joe Burrow and Cincy saying we have no skill players. I think they're forgetting that Joe B elevated players around him. No one knew or Chase before Joe Burrow. Fair. And yes, he might elevate players around him, but there's already players that are elevated around him. Do you know what I mean? Look, Joe Mixon, a premier top 8 running back in the league, easy. Okay. Pretty decent linebacker. And yeah, you can hand the ball off to him. Maybe throw a few touch passes to him. Okay, we'll move on from that. Receiving group, AJ Green, Hall of Famer, you know, top 10 receiver in the league. Yeah, right. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And by the way, I'm the Nash meet if you didn't know. Tyler Boyd, yeah, he's gotten better over the past few years. Good slot. Yeah. John Ross, bust. Alden Tate came up a little bit. And who else am I missing? Oh, yeah, they paired him up with T. Higgins. And then they would go on to say, oh, national media. Oh, the offensive line for Cincinnati? I didn't know they had one. That's what the national media says. In reality, he has a top 8 running back in the league. He has a top 10 receiver in the league. He has Tyler Boyd, who is one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, if not the best slot receiver. You have T. Higgins, who was a fantastic best player available pick, easy, who he can be able to grow with for the next decade plus. Okay, so that's pretty good. You have Alden Tate, who has really proven himself and can be a huge threat in the red zone in 2020, which is what I got my money on. I mean, the guy is a tank of a human. Okay, pretty decent. And then you have John Ross, who we'll have to see what he produces. Now, the hardest thing to argue in this, basically in this, is the fact of the offensive line, which is obviously the weakest point of this team, but they can still hopefully bring themselves together and be at least mediocre, if not, maybe a little bit above average. But do you consider the offensive line as skill players? No, they aren't. So when you're talking about skill players, you're talking about a top 8 running back, a top 10 receiver, a top 3 slot receiver. You got one of the best rookie receivers in the league. I don't understand it either. But you also got to understand, Sir Ron Jeremy, that we are Cincinnati and we aren't the Seattle Seahawks. You got to know your place in time, and you can't lose sleep of what the national media says. You just remember what they said. When the Bengals do good, you bring it back up. And if you follow me on my Twitter, which social links are up there and in the description below, I did tweet something that the offense, what show was it? The Bengals actually got some love on Twitter today by the national media, and it was about the offensive threats. It was Good Morning Football saying Peter Schrager said that the Bengals O-line will look better than most people think, and he has the Bengals as a sleeper for basically the offense. So the national media today actually got a little bit of love, which is crazy to see. And I quote tweeted it saying, I basically just said, the national media putting respect, Ghostface. Like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, I don't understand that argument. I can see the argument about the offensive line, but the weapons are there, man. And if Joe Burrow doesn't need to, elevate players, but if he does, woohoo, hooday, baby. That only means more for us, right? Justin Jefferson, Clyde. Yep, many 1-3-star recruits around him. Media loves to downplay us. Joey B is coming to a really good offensive weapon as well. That's another. Yeah. And the offensive line can be fixed through draft and trade and signing some people, spending some money, which I expect the Bengals to do in this next offseason. Not everything can be done right now. The Bengals did a lot of this offseason. Let's be appreciative of what they've did, and I am very appreciative of what they did. But let's build on it. Let's get these young guys playing some football under their belt so we can get into this offseason, the next offseason, and sign a veteran offensive tackle or offensive lineman, which we should have this season. But hey, we spent enough money, right? So, look, man, the offensive line can only go up from here. And that's something I believe. Our offensive line can only get better, man. So, and Blake said the last 5 games of our line wasn't even bad. And look, man, I like, as much as I want to argue position players last season, it's hard to because of the season we had. Some people say, oh, Geno Atkins had a down year. Carlos Dunlap had a down year. The whole damn team had a down year. We won 2 damn games. Like, to say that he did really good in a team that won 2 games, it's kind of hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, everyone really had a down year if you think about it. Winning 2 games, there's not that many bright spots. But yes, our O-line wasn't even that bad, and they can and probably will turn a little bit ahead this season, and that's all we can hope is that they improve. I mean, improvement's the only thing we can hope for from the offensive lineman. Because like I said, it only get better from here, man. It can't get much worse. One second, gotta check a text message. One second, guys. It is. We are approaching 2 hours in the stream, guys. An hour and 55 minutes in. Make sure you guys go ahead, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and join the DCTV family. It does help that Joe can run too. At LSU, his O-line definitely wasn't the best, even though he won the O-line award. Remember, Joe already played against many NFL defensive line players in the SEC. Yeah, I mean, there's always that argument, oh, he played for Alabama, oh, he played for LSU, oh, he played for Ohio State. He was surrounded with the best. Well, even though that may be true, you got to think he's probably playing the best at some games too. Now, obviously, college, there's those games where they play nobodies to get some money, and it's mostly blowouts, but there are also games where they're playing high competitive level, especially in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, you obviously are playing the best of the best and other NFL players. I mean, every year, the championship game is a freaking slobber fest for draft scouts. I mean, people are just slobbering. They don't even care about the game, who wins. They're just looking for players. Oh, that linebacker. Oh, that quarterback, the running back. You know what I mean? It's like each year is just draft guys, just like it's so crazy every year. I don't know, man. And you get that argument. Oh, he was never going to be anything because his receivers are the best in the league, or his O-line was the best, so he's going to go to a team with the worst O-line and struggle. Yeah, that might be true, but I'm sure he was playing a lot of good talent too. So, and I think people fail to forget to get to some of these colleges that they get into, that you kind of have to be good for a long time to get into it. Guys don't just get in that Ohio State and just be mediocre. You don't just get into LSU and be mediocre. You can't just transfer to another team and just be mediocre. Like, it's different with other colleges, and you can argue that guys who get drafted and undrafted free agents who come from D2, D3, community schools. It happens all the time. Look at Adam Thielen and the Vikings. So, I don't know. College is gonna be very interesting. You know what I mean? It always is. And you can't define one player off of one topic. You really can't. Just like when Cincinnati was all pumped, number one pick, Joe Burrow. Oh, Cincinnati's all happy. Here's Cincinnati, and here's the national media. Cincinnati's, oh, let's go, Joe Burrow, number one pick, secured in the bag. The future is bright. National media sees Cincinnati smiling. So what do? Joe Burrow has the smallest rated hands in the NFL draft. There's never been a successful NFL quarterback under 10 inches with 10-inch hands. And it was then Carson Palmer says if Joe Burrow should sit out for the Cincinnati Bengals because they will ruin his career. And then Cincinnati kills quarterbacks. All this sudden, all the happiness, the national media gets sloshed together, and it's just one big fight. I mean, the hands topic. I remember it was I was a senior in high school last year, and I remember it was like the last 2 weeks before we got off. Like, it was like the last 2 weeks of school because of COVID. So obviously our clothes went to online early because of COVID, and it was like a week before it happened, and it was like the combine and all that stuff, because that was right before COVID happened, and schools were closing like before COVID blew up, but schools closed early, and people are like, "Oh, Joe Burrow, 9-inch hands, he's gonna be a bust. He can't throw a football. He can't palm a football." And I was just like, "You got to be kidding me!" The national media has nothing positive to say about Cincinnati, so they're gonna try to argue Joe Burrow shouldn't be drafted to Cincinnati because of his hand size. I was like, dude. And then Andy Dalton comes out and basically shits all over Cincinnati, or tries to. I was just like, dude, can we ever catch a break? Like, you would think being the first pick that like everyone would just be happy for us. Good for you, Cincinnati. You had a terrible season. Now go get your guy. Go get your guy you've been wanting for a long time. And it was the total opposite. It was just like, as being born and raised in the tri-state, I didn't expect anything else besides the national media trying to rain on our parade. But we got our guys still, and we're happy, and I'm happy. I don't know about you guys. So I got my Joe Burrow jersey sitting right next to me. So I don't know, man. No matter where you're from, man, you can't listen to the national media. I mean, you can listen, but don't take it to heart. Could you imagine how negative my YouTube would be if I listened to everything the national media said about Cincinnati? Every single week, one of my 2 videos would be literally something related of what somebody from the national media said about Cincinnati. And I don't want to do that. Obviously, sometimes I'm going to have to step in and say some things on bigger topics, but I'm not trying to make my YouTube just covering and fighting with the national media, because that's not what DCTV is about. Even though here I am doing it on a 15-minute rant on a stream, but I'm not going to make a whole video about it. Bob said, "What's up, Bob?" He said, "Why did Jermaine Gresham leave Cincy?" Oh, man. I don't know, man. Jermaine Gresham was cool. I got 2 memories. I was pretty young. I got 2 memories from Jermaine Gresham. No hands, couldn't catch, and offside penalties. I know he had a lot of talent, but holy shoot, dude. Dude, he dropped so many passes. And the thing that I get more than that was that he got offsides so much. And you're a tight end. You're going to line up on the freaking O-line like 9 out of 10 plays. 9.9 out of 10 plays. I'm not sure why he left. But no, I'm really not trying to hate. I'm just telling you the only thing I can remember from Jermaine Gresham was that. But I don't know the exact reason. I'm sure things didn't work out. The Bengals got fed up of him dropping passes and freaking. Well, I don't know. Tyler, I think a realistic reason. Sorry, Bob. The realistic reason has to be because they drafted Tyler Eifert, right? Like he was coming in and Tyler Eifert was kind of shining over the position before he got injured 50 million times and basically got a robotic leg. It had to be because of Tyler Eifert was really becoming the star of the tight end position before he literally became half robot. Hopkins is a stud and the 7th highest rated center in the league. Hopefully Michael Jordan, PFF, yes, per Football Focus. Look, man, per Football Focus, I take a lot of stats from them, but you can't. He might be the 7th rated Pro Football Focus player, but I guarantee, even as a Bengals fan, he is not the 7th rated center. He's not the 7th best center in the league. Anyways, hopefully Michael Jordan improves, and of course, Jenna Williams will hopefully left tackle. Look, man, let me start by this. Hopkins has some good grades. He can be there, and hopefully he is. I really hope he is. Michael Jordan needs some improvements. Hopefully he can really secure a spot because I just feel like no one has really secured a spot on our offensive line yet. And I feel like somebody needs to step up and secure that spot. And hopefully it will be this season. And obviously Jonah Williams missing out his entire rookie season with a career or a season injury before the season even starts, which was very unfortunate. Hopefully he'll come back and be the man this year. Like we need him to be. We need Jonah Williams to be the man, and I expect him to be. So Bobby Hart though. ... Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to my man Joe's World. He said, "Go if you haven't already. Go ahead, subscribe to this man. He is from the tri-state as well, and he has a lot of freaking funny videos. If you kind of like vlog content and just like you need a laugh, go check this guy's channel out. And he's from the tri-state, so you got to support tri-state guys. Appreciate you tuning in, Joe. I'll make sure you get one of these very soon. My next video, these will probably be in it. Let me a little sneak peek, but I'm gonna wait till my next video. Anyways, I love the fact they're talking about Joe's hand, but Patrick Mahomes has literally the same hand size, definitely lower than 10 inches. Dude, it was just like you can't expect anything less of the national media when it comes to Cincinnati. Like they were picking every little thing: arm strength, hand size. The thing that got me mad was when they said like Cincinnati has bad success with quarterbacks. Or it was like if you're a quarterback and you go to Cincinnati, your career is already over before it starts. It's like, dude, do you not see? Are you confused with the other Ohio team? Like, are you mistaking Cleveland for Cincinnati? Like seriously, that really made me. How long was Andy Dalton here? Besides his last season, he was really never on the hot seat. 4 or 5 consecutive playoff runs in a row. Obviously didn't win anything. I have to say that every time. But if there's anything I need Joe Burrow to do, I just need him to win one playoff game so I could stop saying that every time. I hate myself for saying it. But we were getting to the postseason multiple years with Andy Dalton. We didn't kill his career. It's just it was time to move on. I mean, he played multiple years, so That I forgot who said it. I don't know who said it, but things like that, you can't let them affect you, and that one really got to me and got under my skin, that somehow Cincinnati kills quarterback crews. I mean, look at Carson Palmer, dude. I get it. He got hurt. Bengals were cheap. They should have spent more money than what they should have. I get that. But don't sit there and tell me Carson Palmer was not surrounded by, good talent, because there were some years, there were some very talented Cincinnati Bengals teams with Carson Palmer on there. And he ended up getting hurt. And I think Carson Palmer just thought it wasn't his fault. I think Carson Palmer looked to blame anybody besides him. And if you think he's right or not, I don't know. He just kind of, I feel like with him looking back on it, listening to him talk and, kind of express himself, I get the Bengals were cheap as shit. I get that. Things are changed now, though. It's like he still kind of has a grudge that, like, I don't know, man. He has like hatred in his heart or something. I really was upset by his comments, because it was like, yeah, dude, I get it. It was a rough patch. You left and you still found success on other teams. That's great. Good for you, but leave it at that. I don't even want to get into Carson Palmer. I really don't. And then there's people comparing, Joe Burrow to Carson Palmer, because Carson Palmer was the last first pick of the draft. Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals drafted quarterback, drafted, Carson Palmer, Heisman winner, whatever the situation is. Me comparing him, basically saying, oh, offensive line is terrible. Joe Burrow's going to get hurt. He's going to end up like Carson Palmer. He's going to leave after 5-10 years, and he's not going to look back. So, anyways, Luke, what's up, buddy? It's good seeing you again. He said, who's your favorite player on the Bengals? I want to say Joe Burrow, just because, you got to love the quarterback and a first-round pick, and you don't get this, like, ever. Once every other decade you get. But if you want somebody that's like, I guess we're not counting Joe Burrow. I find Joe Mixon's game very exciting. I've always been a fan of running backs. Adrian Peterson was one of my favorite players ever growing up. I love Adrian Peterson. So I've always loved Joe Mixon, Oklahoma running back, hard running, big guy, just runs with the grit, power, strength, and he doesn't give a crap who's in his way. If it's from Ray Lewis to anybody, he'll run you over. He's coming at you. So I really find Joe Mixon's game really fun. Like AJ a lot. I think T. Higgins could turn into one of my more favorite players. I like Tyler Boyd's game. On the defensive side, I've always liked safeties. So I'm really pulling for Jesse Bates. Really pulling. Von Bell seems like he is very entertaining and can bring a lot of explosiveness. So I feel like he'll be fun to watch. But I'd say definitely my favorites probably right now, the two Joes, Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. And it's hard not to say AJ. Just haven't got to watch him in a while. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't watched AJ, so I've been watching Joe Mixon. And it's, since AJ's been hurt, it's been a lot of fun to watch Tyler Boyd really involved into the player he has these past 2-3 seasons. He's really came a long way, and he's really stepped up to fill, big hole the Bengals have had, and that's receiver. And, Auden Tate is really entertaining with his size. He's just going up and mossing people. And then you always love a speedy, quick guy. Tyreek Hill is fun to watch. But what about John Ross? Dude, with John Ross when healthy and catching the ball, he is so fun to watch. But once again, he is very stressful to watch because you don't know if he's going to catch the ball. I don't know, man. You got to love your team. You think Stephen A. Smith said that? And look, man, it could have just, I don't like the take. Everyone has bad takes. I have bad takes. Everyone has a hot take. And I love Stephen A. Smith, dude. If you're getting into broadcasting, like if you're going to college for it, or if you just got a YouTube, or if you just enjoy talking about sports, no matter what your situation is, you got to love you, Stephen A. Smith. He is one of the most entertaining guys, hands down. But, and I think the reason is he has a strong opinion. Guys with strong opinions are kind of a little bit more fun to watch, even though they can kind of irritate you sometimes. Baby Yoda, thank you for joining the stream. Haven't seen you in this one yet today. You were in a plane crash and you get stranded on an island with 3 Bengals players. Which 3 would you choose? Joe Burrow. Ooh, I almost said Joe Mixon, but as much as the running back position is replaceable, I might have to slide on him. Well, Joe Burrow. Oh man. It depends. If I'm on the island, I guess these players you want you don't want like an old veteran. You want young guys, right? Like because you're probably not going to be a day one winning team. So I'm going to go young, but good. So I'm probably going to go Burrow, Tyler Boyd, and it's between Sam Hubbard and Jesse Bates for the defense. Obviously, if it's right now talent, you got AJ, Geno, you know what I mean? But if I'm on a plane crash and the whole team, theoretically, you're going to want to build towards the future. So you want young guys that are still good, you know what I mean? So offensive lineman more to eat. How did you become a Vikings fan? So, my whole family is from Cincinnati, born and raised. My whole family's from Cincinnati, but my dad's dad, which we don't really talk to anymore, but they kind of grew up into the Vikings. Back in that era where the Vikings were like huge defense, basically were the purple people eaters, if you've ever heard of that term. And he kind of grew up a Vikings fan, and he still has his hometown Bengals team, but his other team is the Vikings, and that was like his childhood team. And so he kind of passed it on to me. I definitely root for the Vikings. Stephon Diggs has been one of my favorite players. He is gone. But I've always liked the Bengals. The Bengals have always been my hometown team. The Bengals have always been in my blood. And I've always loved all Cincinnati sports. But my childhood with the Bengals, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of rough. Not one playoff win in my entire life. Not once in my life have I seen the Bengals win a playoff game. You know how tough it is? But here I am at the end of the day, still rooting on the Bengals, still making content on the Bengals, making multi-hour live streams. You gotta be a fan. You gotta really stick it in with the team. But yeah, I still root for my Vikings, and that's why I love the acquisition of McKinney Alexander and Trey Waynes, because they're 2 heck of players who, when Xavier Rhodes fell off the mountain, being a top 5 cornerback in the league and a Pro Bowler, to being a bottom 5 cornerback in the league and terrible, those guys had to fill those shoes. And then Mike Hughes, another young corner, got hurt. Those 2 guys had a big void to fill, and they did a great job. And I honestly was shocked that they both left. I thought that there was definitely a chance the Vikings were gonna lose those guys, but I didn't think we were gonna lose both. And the Vikings lost them, and the Bengals got a great package deal for both those guys. Honestly, I really love them obtaining both of them. But I still like my Vikings. I don't think my Vikings will win a Super Bowl under Kirk Cousins, unfortunately. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he is very underrated. I just don't think he's the guy. And actually, another reason, there's just a lot of Cincinnati stuff from Minnesota too. Mike Zimmer, former defensive coordinator for the Bengals, is now the coach for the Vikings, who actually today got rumored to a contract extension. So congrats to him. Mike Zimmer's house is actually only about 15 minutes away from my house. How do I know that? I don't know. But if you didn't know, Mike Zimmer actually still lives in northern Kentucky. It's called Zimmer's Ranch. Yeah, because he's from here. He worked for the Bengals. So if you didn't know that, he actually still resides here. He just has to go there during the season. But he's here in the off season. Like in the NFL draft when they were showing the coaches, Mike Zimmer, how they showed all the coaches in the rooms, Mike Zimmer was in Kentucky, northern Kentucky. So I don't know. There's been a couple connections there in my lifetime, and that's how I get that Adrian Peterson too. I always loved Adrian Peterson. It was always Adrian Peterson, Chad Johnson for me. Chad Johnson has, oh my gosh, he's right here. Chad Johnson. Then you got Carson Palmer right there, and I think you guys all know who that is right there. Met the guy. It's actually a signed bobblehead. I can get it down. Icky Woods, the Shuffle. Actually got that signed. A little dusty. But yeah, Icky Woods is cool. A little bit, before my time, but still seen some highlights. I mean, everyone knows about the Icky Shuffle if you watched him or not. So Chad Johnson and Adrian Peterson are always my guys. And T.O. came in. T.O. was fun to watch. But yeah, long story short. I have PTSD every time someone mentions the Vikings. Too many playoffs lost to them. And dude, as much as heartbreak if I've had as like watching Bengals games, watching the Seahawks, the Seattle Seahawks versus Minnesota Vikings playoff game a couple years ago, where the Minnesota Vikings and Blair Walsh had a chip of like a 32-yard field goal in the snow, like a 32-yard field goal, and he missed it, and the Vikings lost. That was crazy. I have honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I have more hope for my hometown Cincinnati Bengals to get a Super Bowl before the Minnesota Vikings, just because I don't think Kirk Cousins is the guy. I like Kirk Cousins. He's underrated. The Vikings always have a fantastic defense because Mike Zimmer, it's about all he does is defense. So I just don't think Kirk Cousins is the guy. I mean, I think Joe Burrow could be 3 years in and already ahead of Kirk Cousins. But that's a topic for a different day. The Bengals could have picked Jerry Rice, but picked a bum receiver. Let me check this. Baby Yoda said UC over Xavier. That is so incorrect, my man. You got to go with the X. You. It's been over 3,000 days since the last time UC has beat Xavier in basketball. And Xavier hasn't lost a game in the football season ever. So I didn't mean to roast you there, but I'm going to be a freshman at Xavier. So the hate isn't quite there yet because I haven't attended a single day on campus yet. But I went to a Xavier game last year. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun with my father. It was a good time. But it sucks because I was already planning to go to the crosstown shootout UT Xavier game. I wanted to go to that so bad this year, being a freshman at Xavier. Crosstown shootout. Oh my gosh, that's such a good game every year. I wanted to go to that so bad. But I believe, each year it changes back and forth. So this year, I believe it would have been at UC. So next year should be at Xavier. But it's a fun one to watch. Luke said UC. You guys go to UC or just grew up UC fans? But like my mom went to Cincinnati. My mom went to UC and I went to Xavier. And so, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. And I did have a chance going to UC. Like I got accepted. I toured. Beautiful campus. It's huge, cool football stadium. It's a very nice campus. It's just a lot bigger, a lot more people. And at the end of the day, the Xavier program for what I want to go into just shits on UC's. No beef. But the program I want to go to Xavier is just probably a lot more my style than it is at UC. But I have a lot of friends going to UC. I know a lot of people who are going to UC, so I'm not going to sit here and shit on it. And I didn't, just before I was going to Xavier, I never hated UC. Like I always rooted for my hometown teams. I love college basketball. Anytime I see UC play somebody else, I'm rooting for UC. Anytime I see Xavier rooting for playing against another team big, I rooted for Xavier. You got to enjoy your hometown teams is what I'm trying to say. But anytime it's Xavier versus UC, it's the X all day. And don't forget, like I just said, it's been over 3,000 days since the last time UC beat Xavier. But yeah, I never been to the crosstown shootout in person. At least if I did, I was probably 8 years old. I think I went to one a long time ago. But I wanted to go so bad this year. Yeah, you grew up. Yeah. Some families, if your family's from the tri-state, the majority of the time, somebody in your family either has went to UC or Xavier. And UC is a hell of a lot better than Xavier. So most of the time it's UC over Xavier. Oh, next year's draft, the Bengals are probably going to focus on their O-line. They won't have to focus drafting on their O-line if they sign somebody in free agency. Although I do expect them to at least pick 2 rounds of offensive linemen. But I would rather them go sign a big target on the offensive lineman, a veteran presence. Veteran presence is, I mean, like 26, 27 years or older. Get a decent deal going. I do expect them to draft, but I would rather them definitely sign somebody because we've seen what the draft has done to our offensive line these past few years. Okay, so just because you guys are here with me at midnight, I'm going to do a little spoiler alert, but you can't say anything. So obviously, if you didn't know, I post every Saturday at noon, and Saturday's video has something to do about where I ranked the Bengals receiver core. I don't know how you got that information, but you literally got it. I should have the thumbnail sometime tonight. But yeah, my next video is exactly what you're asking me. I basically ranked the Bengals receiving core in the league. And I'm not going to give you the title of the video, but I will say I do make a pretty – it's a little bit of a clickbaity question mark that I use, but you got to do that sometimes. But in the video, I answer where I exactly rank them, and it is top 10. I will say that. Top 10 for sure. Top 10 for sure. That's crazy, though. It's literally today's video. I guess you guys get a sneak peek. So if you guys make sure you have that notification bell on, you guys will be there for the premiere because I premiere every single one of my videos. So it's kind of just like a live, but the video is pre-recorded. I'm in the chat and you're in the chat with a lot of people and you guys are talking live and my video is just pre-recorded. But I'm always in the chat on the premieres. What games that we play this year could turn into shootouts and which could turn into defensive struggles? Let's go through it. Good question. Well, right out the gate, week 1, Chargers have a pretty prolific defense, so that could be a little bit of a struggle. I think, honestly, that Browns game could go either way. I think it's either going to be a high shootout game or it's going to be a very low-scoring game. So I think that Browns game, Thursday Night Football, is going to be, a 14-10 game or it's going to be 20-30s. I think that one can go either way. I spoke about it earlier. The game in Philadelphia, I expect to be pretty high scoring. The game's on 9:27. Bengals versus the Eagles. I expect to be pretty high. You got the Jaguars. We should be able to put 20 plus. I would hope 30. I would hope we could put 30 up on the Jags. But at the same time, we might just run that ball down their throat with Joe Mixon. I'd like to see Joe Burrow get 300 yards in that game, though. The Ravens. The Ravens, tough to tell because the Ravens run the ball a lot. We might come back with running the ball a lot as well. It depends because we could get, that Ravens game could turn early quick. If they get up 14, 17 points on us, that's probably lights out just because how early they can end a game with their running attack and with our young linebacking crew. So I think the thing that scares me with the Ravens game is that it can be a blowout, definitely. Like it can get ugly quick. It can. Out of all these games, I think that game can get ugly quick. I expect the Titans game to be low scoring or a very defensive game. Running back versus running back, Joe Mixon versus King Henry. That should be a fun one to watch. The Redskins could be another one, low scoring affair, or we could throw some points on their head. And that's gonna be a fun one to watch too. You got the Giants versus the Bengals. You got Joe Burrow versus Danny Dimes. Saquon versus, Joe Mixon. That's going to be good to watch. We have some good running backs. King Henry, Saquon. the 5 running backs the Ravens use. We got the Cowboys. We got some good running backs we're going up against. I mean, do you guys consider Leonard Fournette a top 10? Just noticed that. We got a lot of good running teams we're going up against this season. Ooh, the Bengals Dolphins. I hope it's a shootout. I hope both the rookies have a good game and it just comes down to the Bengals last drive. Joe Burrow gets it in the clutch. That would be nice. I think I would want that game to be high scoring. In Miami, Tua slinging it. Burrow has, responded back, slinging it too. Oh, dude, that would be fun to watch. Come on now. As much as I enjoy our, defensive games and defense causing turnovers, you love when the defense is just making the quarterback really have a tough time. We're just slowing down the running back. They're getting frustrated. At the same time, man, a few games a year, I love a good shootout. Just so much action. The Cowboys, man, that game, they got some talent on that defensive front. Not going to lie. But, I mean, that Cowboys team has talent everywhere. They just can't produce in the playoffs. Or to make the playoffs. So, we'll see. The Texans could be, I don't know. I feel like the Texans are a boomer bust this season. When do you think the Bengals will get new uniforms? Hopefully not for a while because of this. Can we give a guess of how much this beautiful Joe Burrow jersey was? I don't know. Does it not have the price? I have the tag. I don't know. I think it was 100 and some change maybe. Joe Burrow, the number 1 pick, was, I think, top 5 in jersey sales in the offseason. I think top 3. That's huge. So do you have that big of a player being that high in the jersey sales and then turn around in the next year or two and switch your jerseys? That's kind of unfortunate because you have fools like me that are spending $100+ on these jerseys. Look, I was definitely down. I was definitely down for new jerseys. You see on Twitter people editing these new photo jerseys, the new all black, all orange, all white. Dude, the all white with the all white helmets looks so sick. There's an edit, all white jersey, orange and black stripe with the all white helmet. Oh, with just black stripe, like the white tiger. Oh my gosh, they look so good, man. But the problem is, it's hard to have a guy who's like top 3 in jersey sales and then just turn around and just make new uniforms and everybody has to buy them again. But once again, the NFL is a business, so I probably wouldn't doubt it does happen. So 5 years maybe. I don't know, man. It's also Nike. Nike will push out new uniforms like it's no tomorrow. It's probably the most underrated / slept on core wide receiver core in the NFL. Yeah, I think you guys will like what I have to say in the video on Saturday. It's going to be a good one. What AFC teams do you think will make the playoff seed 1 to 7? Ooh, I think it's all too late for that. Look, man, I'll promise you this. I can't do that right now. I don't even want to talk. Man. AFC teams do you think will make the playoff seed 1 to 7? Well, here, let me answer that with the rebuttal. What is one team that you think made it last year and won't make it this year? I'll give you a few seconds to answer, just because I really don't want to go through all that right now. It's way too late. I'm so sorry. Do you know Travis Kelce with the UC? Yeah. Yes, sir. Travis Kelce, I know he went to UC. Did you know Kyle Rudolph went to Elder High School here in Cincinnati? Kyle Rudolph, tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, made that beautiful catch against the Saints, the clutch. He went to Elder High School right here in Cincinnati. But yeah, I'm very aware of Travis Kelce went to UC. Cool guy. And like I don't hate him because he went to UC. I'm not that guy. I'm not like, oh, Travis Kelce sucks. He's from UC. Screw the Bearcats. Like, good for him. He's from Cincinnati. Who gives a crap? I'm surprised he didn't go to Xavier for football, honestly. You showed the price in one of your videos. Yeah. Well, I did a whole jersey video. So if you haven't done that, it was pretty cool. It's like a short little 5-minute video, I think. I literally just did like a 30-second freaking video, like a little mixtape of the jersey, and just got into it. Let me pull it up real quick. We're at 1.07 subs right now. Last time I checked, we were at 1.06. Appreciate that. If you guys are still in here, I've been live for over 2.5 hours, so it would mean the world to me if you guys leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. It was Joe Burrow jersey unboxing. It is at 777 views. I did it a month ago. Yeah, Joe Burrow jersey unboxing, asterisk, all capital letters, live reaction and montage. Posted, premiered July 13th or June 13th, 2020. 62 likes and 2 dislikes. Look at that ratio. Yeah, as over 750 views right now. It's literally a 4-minute video of just a montage of the jersey, me explaining the price, how it said it wasn't going to come in until October, but surprisingly came in June. So, yeah, if you haven't, go check that video after this. It's literally 4 minutes. I wasn't even at 1K subscribers yet. Man, we came a long way, guys. So thankful for the DCTV fam. But yeah, if you want to know the price, let's go to that video. Also, I'm kind of surprised my Jonah Williams video I did a month ago, why Jonah Williams will have a Pro Bowl season. That's at 933 views, about to hit 1K, which I was kind of surprised because, it's an offensive lineman. So no matter how high he was drafted or scouted, offensive linemen are definitely a lot harder to get content on than a wide receiver. So this is interesting because I have a quick answer for you after I use the restroom. Okay. I wash my hands, I promise. Oh, okay. So most overrated team in the AFC, I believe we have one of the most overrated, if not the most overrated team in our own division. Could you guys take a wild guess of what that team may look like? And look, it's not that the Browns are overrated in terms as roster. Like they have a great roster, a lot of good guys, a lot of talented guys, a lot of Pro Bowlers probably. But they just can't seem to put it together. So does that make them overrated? I mean, obviously the whole last season they were the only talked about team. They're going to go to the Super Bowl, 12-win, 13-win team. Boom, look what happened. Kind of just blew up in their own face. So as of last year, they were definitely the most overrated team. But for this season, if I had to predict, let me get a good look at all the teams. Let me get a good look. Okay. Okay. I'll give you 3. No. Well, looking at them, I'll give you. Man, I don't know. It's hard to say overrated because we're not into the season yet. Does that make sense? Like it's a lot easier of an answer once the season's starting. But I'll tell you, don't know how the Chargers are gonna do. I've seen a lot of the whole AFC West. I know Kansas City is obviously the favorites, but I've heard a lot of talk with Drew Lock and the Broncos that's chirping all over Twitter for some reason, even though the dude's played 4 games. You got the Raiders. I don't know if are they overrated? I don't know. I mean, they had a interesting draft to say the least. You got the Chargers, who is a very, very interesting team. I don't think they'll do what a lot of people are expecting them to do. The Titans have a at mediocre quarterback at best and an amazing running back. The Jaguars are the worst team in the league. Colts, very interesting situation. Not gonna lie, I don't know if the AFC South has to be like I don't know. Who do you guys have in the AFC South? The Titans, the Jaguars, the Colts, or the Texans? Let me know what you guys think about that one. I could flip a coin on that one. Obviously, the Titans went pretty deep last year. I just don't know if Ryan Tannehill can do it again. Not that I don't like Ryan Tannehill. He played good. He's conservative. They don't push through him. They know what he can do, so they're smart about it. They got a good coach. I just think he was overpaid a tad. And then you have the Colts, who kind of just throw Phillip Rivers in there to try to get him a Super Bowl. I don't think it's happening. The Texans, who GM and a coach who is bipolar. Is that the correct terms? The AFC North, which is the craziest division ever. So crazy. Then the AFC East, who you have Cam Newton and the Patriots after everyone thought they were going with Stidham. Right? And it's interesting because I don't see the Jets are going to be battling with the Jaguars for the worst team in the AFC. You have the Patriots, who we'll see. If Tom Brady can get him to the playoffs, why can't Cam Newton? So, that was a little crazy, but I do think Cam Newton will turn some heads if he stays healthy. The Dolphins, very young. Dolphins are like in the Bengals shoes, dude. We're so young, it's ridiculous. Obviously, how many draft picks do they have in the first 4 rounds? I felt like I saw them in the first round at least 3 times. It was crazy. And then obviously the Bills, who I think are going to turn a lot of heads. You bring in a guy like Stephon Diggs, you're a very good defensive team. The reason why I don't think the Bills are Super Bowl contenders, but make a lot of playoffs and really get slept on, is because the Bills know what Bills can do. I feel like Sean McDermott knows what the Bills are good at and knows what the Bills are bad at, and kind of just sticks to what they're good at and does the damn thing and gets the team to the playoffs. So I don't know, man. That kind of turned into what's the most overrated team to kind of a rant, but yeah, AFC is gonna be pretty fun to watch. Rank the AFC North. It's 12:30, and you guys are really trying to pull my hair out. Look, man, I tell you, Ravens at 1. Oh, sorry about that. Ravens at 1. Second place is between the Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. And we'll leave it at that for the night. Will you ever get the Joe Burrow Stitch jersey? Yeah. Look, man, I'll tell you one day I'll have a signed Joe Burrow jersey. And I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to go get the damn thing signed in training camp 2021. Let's get excited for it. Dude, that orange jersey is so beautiful. Let's be honest. Come on. The black and white is cool. I think the next one might be a color rush, but I got to get some more guys on the team. I got to get some more. Not going to lie. Luke said OBJ kind of fell off. Did he fall off or did his quarterback fall off? Look, I've always liked Odell. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. He's the past few years have been he's gone against a lot of hate in the media because his numbers has gone down. He's not been that receiver like he's been in the past. But he's also hasn't been a receiver to get thrown to by an amazing quarterback. He goes from a crippled Eli Manning to Baker Mayfield. And what is Baker Mayfield so far? We really don't know as of now. I think OBJ will turn it around this year. I think we'll get back on track. I've always liked Odell. Just look at the year the Browns had. I mean, going ranked to be making the Super Bowl to not even making the playoffs. Like, I think the whole Browns organization kind of fell off last year. But we'll see. I mean, OBJ, you might be right. OBJ might never be the same player again. But if he could be at least half the player he once was, we'll see. Ravens or Steelers for what? Better team? Ravens. Team I like more? Not the Steelers. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever rooted for the Steelers in my entire life. Like, I don't think there's ever been a situation where I'm like, I want to pull through for Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys can relate. What do you think about Burrow being 3-4 days ahead of the other rookies? Look, man, when I saw that and I saw how Zach Taylor reportedly had to tell Joe Burrow to slow down because he was getting too ahead of the other guys, I wasn't surprised. I mean, when they told me that did you guys not see Joe Burrow was reportedly already studying the Cincinnati Bengals playbook before the draft? Like, the Bengals sent him the playbook, and he was already studying how the Bengals offense before he was even drafted, let alone sign a contract. That's how when I hear you guys talking about like, oh my God, I'm so worried about Joe Burrow signing a contract. Dude was studying the Bengals offense before he was literally already drafted. So when I saw that, I was not surprised at all. I mean, Joe Burrow is a dog, and even if you don't give me the most talented guy, give me the one with the most heart. The guy that's going to go out there and fight. No matter how talented he is, give me the guy with the most heart who's going to study, and he's going to put his heart out there every single game, every single play. So, like when you see stuff like that, man, you have to get excited. Like, come on. You got to get excited. I'm sure you guys are, though. Luke said, do you think the Patriots would do good with Cam? Well, considering not that I think that he's going to do amazing with the Patriots, but I think he's in the right division to do good. He doesn't have to do a lot. 2 wins on the Jets, at least 1 win on the Dolphins, should be 2 wins on the Dolphins. And then you have the Bills, who are a little bit better than last year. I don't think they took gigantic steps. I don't think they're a whole new team. I think they definitely are better, but I don't think they're amazing. So I think he can do good, but I don't think he has to do a lot to make the playoffs. And that's why I think the NFL really messed up when they let him sign with the Patriots. And not even just NFL, maybe just the AFC East, but I really think the NFL, a lot of the other teams really dropped the ball there to let Cam Newton go to the Patriots. With the cheap of a deal he got, as cheap as a deal he got, he should have been signed with the Patriots. Bill Belichick is even though he's a cheater, he knows some stuff, man. And he knows his way around a player, I guess. But yeah, I just don't. The reason why when you ask people who are hating on Cam Newton in the Patriots deal, I'm like, dude, he literally has 4 easy wins in the division. He's gonna have to at least win 1 from the Bills, and he made the playoffs. Like, I don't know. I think the Patriots. Look, I like the Bills. I don't know about Josh Allen. I get it. Dude has the biggest arm in the NFL, but he's not very accurate with it. I think the Cops will be atop of the division because O'Brien is trying his hardest to kill the Texans. Look, the Colts are very intriguing. because you have a very hungry veteran in Phillip Rivers who is just dying to have some playoff success and a pretty good roster. I mean, the Colts roster isn't like amazing, but he has it pretty easy on the offense. Good running game, amazing offensive line. I mean, what has Phillip Rivers always done has been known for? Taking his time. The dude sits back there day and night. His hike, just looking. And he's been under pressure in recent years, but with the Colts, he shouldn't have that much pressure, dude. He has the best offensive line. So I feel like their offense is going to put up some points this year. I don't think he's really going to shy away that much from throwing the ball. I feel like the Colts are going to run it more, but I feel like they're still going to throw shots down the field because Phillip Rivers, a guy with a big arm, aggressive, wants to throw the ball a lot, an offensive line that's top 3 in the league. Hell yeah, man, that's a great combination. Their defense, young and hungry. I like the Colts, man. I really do. And you got them in the division with the Jaguars, the Texans, who I said they're definitely a boomer bust team. And then the Titans, who do you take Phillip Rivers over Ryan Tannehill? With not prime Phillip Rivers now, where he's at in his career, 40-something years old, 40 years old, whatever it may be. Colts have a shot, man. I'll tell you that. I like them too. I agree with you on that one. Jose said, do you think it's time to get a new kicker? Maybe in the 2021 draft? What about some free agents? Look, kickers in this league, don't matter if they're a rookie, don't matter if they're undrafted free agent, don't matter if they're 45 years old, Adam Vinatieri. If you don't got an old guy like Adam Vinatieri on your team, then your kicker is not promised a spot on your team. And that's just how it's been these last probably 3 years in the NFL, I'd say, since all these rule changes are happening with extra point and all that good stuff. And I feel like in the past few years, a lot of people are trying more on the other side of the kicker side because they know kickers are, for some reason, these past years way worse than they've been in any other history of the NFL. I don't know, man. I feel like we got to see how we do. Obviously, I feel like the Bengals have always had a above average special teams at bare minimal. Like the special teams have always been pretty decent. Kevin Huber. Kevin Huber's been on the team for I don't know how long, a long time. So we'll have to see. And would I waste a draft pick on a kicker? I don't know. Just because kickers are so, man, you don't know what kickers, honestly, man. I would, how rare it is to draft a kicker or get a young free agent kicker and them, be good for like 10 plus years to get someone like Adam Vinatieri or something like that. It's so rare. More rare than probably quarterbacks, honestly. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't care how we get a kicker. If we have to draft one late in the draft, if we have to get one in a free agent, we'll have to see with the future. I mean, is the LSU kicker any good? Can we get him paired up with Joe Burrow? I don't know about that. Is the LSU kicker good? It's crazy because I hate both. I don't like the Patriots and I don't like the Steelers. So I feel like I definitely don't want the Steelers having it, but I guess the Patriots are better, but by how much? You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh. That kind of stresses me out, you saying that. I don't know why that just stressed me out so much. I mean, you have the Patriots spying on a one-win Bengals team, and I never understood that. When I saw that news last year, I kind of took it as a joke. But I went to the Jets Bengals game last year. So my girlfriend's family is from New York. Jet and Yankees fan, because they've grown up in New York the whole time. So I went with her father and her brother and my dad and I, and we went down to the Jets and Bengals game. And that ended up being the Bengals' first win of the season. They were like 0-8, 0-9, and then ended up beating the Jets. It was the funniest thing ever, man. I'll tell you, because he grew up a Jets fan. What have the Jets done in the past couple decades? And we were like just joking with him the whole time, like, oh, what if these 0-8 Bengals go and beat the Jets for the first one of the season, and we're probably 12 rows back, about the 50-yard line, pretty good seats. And the Bengals ended up winning that. It was cold, windy. Remember, it wasn't freezing, but it was like overcast in Cincinnati, and you're by that river. If you've ever been to Paul Brown or Great American Ballpark, when there's no sun out and there's a wind gust from that river, ooh, it gets nice and chilly. It was cold, man. My dad was telling me how I needed to wear a coat, and I only wore a hoodie, man. I was freezing. But yeah, long story short, last year I got to witness the Bengals getting the first win of the season. Only won one of the 2 wins of the season, so you all said, "Hoo day, my man." Thank you for joining the stream. What's up, buddy? LSU kicker is a sophomore, so he's a few years out. Okay. Hey, man. Let's see how good he is. Yeah, and the Patriots still almost lost to the Bengals. That's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. They cheated, literally spy on the Bengals, and still almost lost. But my reason is why? Like, did they feel that threatened that, like, maybe they weren't prepared during the week, so they felt like maybe this could catch them up a little bit? Like, I don't know, man. I guess maybe that was just a game they needed to win, and they just couldn't afford losing to a one-win team. I don't know. But yeah, long story short, that Jets Bengals game was a lot of fun. I went to. I think Auden Tate, if I remember, Auden Tate had a good catch that game. Joe Mixon did pretty good. I remember seeing Jamal Adams. Yeah, Jamal Adams, he's about to leave that team. I remember seeing Jamal Adams some warm-ups, looking swaggy. That guy has some swag on the field, I'll tell you that. I was watching him during warm-ups because, like I said, we were probably 10, 12 rows back, so we just walked up to watch the players warm up and stuff. And like I said, we're about 50-yard line, so Bengals were practicing towards the end zone, and the Jets were kind of stretching out more towards the 50-yard line. And I was seeing Jamal Adams, dude. He had like 4 wristbands. He's like 2 wristbands, wristbands, dude. That's some swag. But fun fact, I got to witness Bengals one of the 2 wins last season. The first one. But yeah, man, it was just so funny because her family from New York grew up Jets and Yankees fans. Jets, what have they done? And we're just messing with them. Oh, Bengals going to win. Bengals going to win. They ended up winning the game. Oh, it was so funny. It was cool, man, because there wasn't many people in the stadium, but the people that were in the stadium, man, finally felt like, for some reason, even though this win meant nothing, kind of felt like some weight was like lifted off our shoulders, and we were all happy. And I'm pretty sure it's the game when Zach Taylor went over there and high-fived like the fans. And there's like a photo of that. So it was cool, man. No matter what a team does, Paul Brown Stadium is always a fun time. And I remember, like, in a recent article on Twitter, Paul Brown Stadium's ranked, like, I think, by, like, anywhere. I don't remember what it was. I think it was, like, bottom 10 stadium in the league because they did, like, a ranking all NFL stadiums. I'll try to see if I can pull the article up. But I'll tell you one thing. The Colts Stadium, holy crap. It is beautiful. I've gone to a few Pacers games in my life, and you go by the field. Wow. The brick. Oh my God. Like the Colts field their stadium is so beautiful. Not trying to say it's better than classic Paul Brown Stadium, but it's a beautiful place. And it's crazy because it's not, right here in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, it's not that far of a drive. And, it's kind of funny. You get nothing when you leave Cincinnati going to Indianapolis. It's not much. Really, it's kind of an easy drive, honestly. And it's like there's nothing. Boom, Indianapolis, big football stadium, NBA stadium. It's funny because it's like nothing in between. But yeah, it's beautiful over there. I've been to a couple Pacers games. Pretty fun. you remember the season when the Bengals were doing good and we probably could have the playoffs, and then Dalton got hurt and Jefferson played? Yeah, that was the thumb, right? Wasn't that when Andy Dalton had to get surgery on the thumb? I remember. Weren't we like 7-8 wins? Dude, I remember. Ooh, sorry about that if you heard a noise. Yeah, man. I was the thumb year, right? It was the thumb or the wrist? I could have swore it was the thumb. But oh man. I remember like it was yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if Alden Tate you stick him on his hands like in the whole NFL days. All of his catches was like 10 catches. Not gonna lie, dude. His catches, even if it was like just a first down play, dude's going up there ball hawking over 6-foot corners, man. He is so fun to watch. And that's why I said, dude, he's gonna have a career high touchdowns this year in the red zone. Top 10 catches of the year. Yeah. That's what you meant, top 10 catches of the year, not gonna lie. Yeah. Dude. I'm not gonna lie either, man. Watching that guy, no matter if it's a 10-yard reception or if it's a long bomb, that dude goes up and he climbs a ladder, and it's crazy to think he gets up that high because how big he is. He's 6'5", freaking 99% muscle. Please, right now, go up another time, pull him up, dude. And the fact that he's that big and he gets up that much, and, not to compare him to Zion, but look how kind of stocky. He's definitely a lot more fit than Zion, I guess, because Zion's a little chunky. But it's like Zion. Zion's so big, but he gets up so high, and it's like, how? How does that dude getting up there like that? So, yeah, Luke, I thought it was his thumb. Yeah, man, I definitely do like the Reds. I just had my Reds hat on the last stream. I got a Ken Griffey clock right here, only 5,000 of them. I like my Reds. I will say I'm definitely a lot more football than I am baseball, I would like to think. But I do enjoy some baseball. And the Reds start, now that it's Thursday, officially tomorrow is opening day for the Reds. So, yeah, opening day is tomorrow for the Reds. So, let's go Red Legs, right? Kiss Final said, "No idea what we are talking about here." Well, we've touched a lot of topics in this almost 2 hours and 58-minute stream. We went from talking about kickers to the Patriots cheating to Andy Dalton thumb surgery, ending the season. Jeff Driscoll comes in, the year's done, almost made the playoffs. To Alden Tate just going up and grabbing the freaking ball of any and everybody. And then talking about a little bit about the Reds and how I'm definitely more knowledgeable about football. We are going into 2 hours and 58 minutes. 2 hours and 59 minutes officially here on the stream. My longest stream yet is actually my night stream. That's funny. My only and every night stream. And it's my longest one yet. So if you guys are still in here, please smash that like button. All you got to do is just tap it, please. Tap that like button, hit the subscribe button, and stick around. Tuesdays and Saturdays are days I drop videos, and then I stream when I get some free time. I've always thought this in my head, but I went on Madden and saw that he had a 30 block rating. I know you don't want to say Madden's realistic because it's really not that realistic besides some of the graphics. But yeah, dude, if his blocking really is that bad, obviously he can't be a tight end. I would rather have a less receiving tight end, like more of a blocking tight end and have out there. Like I feel like people like always hate on tight ends that don't produce a lot, but I feel like unless it's like a Kelsey, like not many guys, I don't want my tight end getting a lot of catches. I want him to be able to be a superior blocker than I would rather him being a superior receiver. In my opinion, that's my type of offense. But at least in a position like Cincinnati, where you have a mediocre offensive line, so I'd rather go on a guy that can throw in and block. But what if Tate improves his blocking? I don't know what the Bengals' plans are, but I mean, if we ever went down CJ Uzomah, Drew Sample, and it's like, whoa, who we throwing in there? Throw Tate in there. Dude, I know there's some big D line, but it would be pretty tough to move that guy out the way. Now, unless you're like Daniil Hunter, Khalil Mack, some of these other guys, I guess they would toss him out the way like he's a rag doll. But dude, he's pretty big. Come on now. What do you think about the Cincinnati FC new stadium? It's pretty nice, man. I think Cincinnati FC has a lot to build on because Cincinnati's a baseball city, and then you got the Bengals, and then now you got FC Cincinnati, who I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but if it's Cincinnati, I want to rep it. I know they've kind of been in some struggles with the coach being fired for some reasons, but coach is being fired. They're trying to build something great. Stadium done? Is the stadium done? I know they were building it west side, right? I don't think did they finish it? Oh yeah. Because they were using UC. It's not done yet, right? But it looks really freaking nice. $200 million? Yo, can they give some of that money for the Bengals salary cap? I'm excited, man. Anytime we can bring more sports fans, no matter what sport it is, to the city, I'm all in. Look, I'm not the biggest soccer guy, never have, never will be. But if it's going to bring in some more entertainment into the city and some revenue, why the hell not? Capacity 26,000, $200 million for the construction costs. Yeah, West End Stadium. I knew it was West Side. It's one thing I knew about it. Kiss Final said, I don't know how much about football. The last Super Bowl halftime shows have sucked. Classic. All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to lie. I am getting exhausted. It is 12:43, and we've streamed for over 3 hours and 3 minutes. So, unfortunately, unless you guys have another question or two, I'm going to be wrapping it up here. I don't know if you guys have another question to wrap it up on. I would love to get one more question before I have to wrap this one up, if you guys could do that for me. If not, it's whatever. But if you are either watching this live or somehow I have a lot of people going back and watching my streams, post-production, thank you so much. 3 hours post-production watching this. I really appreciate you. Like I said, Tuesdays and Saturdays at noon. Make sure you tune into every single premiere. Hit that subscribe button. We are on hashtag Road to 2K. Make sure you guys are still smashing that like button. And stay tuned for some more content. Also, one more thing, you guys have not added me on my social media. Go ahead and do that. It's the best way to stay with the rhythm of DCTV and to stay up to date on all my content. And if you ever have any video suggestions, ideas, or just disagree with me, hit me up on social media. Be like, hey, man, I think you should talk about this. Or, hey, man, I think about this. Or if you disagree with me, anything, literally. I've had so many people contact me on like Instagram and have literally sent me DMs like, hey, man, I really enjoy your videos. Or, hey, man, I really think you should talk about Logan Wilson. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to lie. That's how I get a lot of my content from you guys. Luke said, love your videos. Keep it up, man. Hey, man, I'm going to be doing this as long as you guys are showing the support, which you guys are killing it. We just hit 50K views, and we're almost at 1.1K subs already. So I really appreciate guys like you is what's keeping me going. Look, man, I'm not going to lie. I don't have a lot of free time in my life. I'm pretty busy from YouTube, full-time college student, work part-time. I got a lot of my life going. So I don't spend a lot of my time watching other people with their sports broadcasting I have in the past. But right now in my lifetime, I don't watch a lot of people. But I'm not going to lie. I do watch some of McAfee. He's entertaining. He's a YouTube guy. So I want to, I really enjoy how he keeps, his live streams on YouTube. Dude's freaking so funny. And he keeps it 110% real. Obviously, there's one thing he has on me that one thing he has on me, and he played in the NFL. I'll never have something like that. But dude's funny, has good content, has a good crew, and he keeps it 100% realistic. He says whatever the heck he wants. Like, dude is realistic. I really enjoy his show. He doesn't hide anything. He doesn't bluff anything. He says what he wants. So I'm not gonna lie. He's probably been my favorite, or if not one of my favorite sports talk shows, at least recently. Like the past, like since I've graduated high school, I've watched probably Pat McAfee more than any other sports show. So I just really enjoy him. He's refreshing. He doesn't go after the, clickbaity topics. He's not talking about Dak Prescott for an hour segment. He talks about whatever the hell he wants. He literally, I'm sure if you watch Pat McAfee, he'll talk about anything from rugby to the AFL to like the NFL. So very entertaining. I agree with them with the training facility though, man. Like it is 2020. Come on, Cincinnati, we got to get a training facility, like indoor training facility. I don't blame them. The Bengals need one. That's something we can work on. Maybe instead of spending a $200 million construction cost for a soccer team, maybe if we can just get like 5% of that and get an indoor facility right there. What do you guys think about that? I don't know. Maybe once DCTV gets a little bit better and I'm going to start putting donations in my stream. Maybe I can do like 10% of my every donation goes to train an indoor training facility for the Bengals. I'll do 10% of every single donation that you guys donate to the DCTV will go to 10% will go to indoor training facility. I myself will donate to the Bengals. That was a good one, man. The Bengals YouTube channel changed the logo from the orange and black to the white and black. Most teams are doing that. MLB used their logo for like the first time in freaking history. So a lot of things are changing here in 2020, but hopefully for the better, guys. All right. Well, I appreciate every single one of you sticking out for this stream. 3 hours and 7 minutes. And it's my first late night stream. And honestly, I'll probably do it again because I really enjoyed this. Like I said, make sure you guys, get active in that comment section on my videos. Make sure you are there for the premieres, the lives. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. And I'm going to have to wrap this one up here. Hit me up with my social media. Talk to you guys soon. Much love, DCTV family. Stay you, stay true. I'll see you guys in the next one. I didn't end it. I got to end it.